We're on. We're on. Good afternoon. It is Sunday, the 17th of May. Seshes, how are we? How are we? Welcome to the Sunday Sesh podcast. Excited for the Wars and the Broncos. Glad we get a good game. We've had a couple of weeks of Fozball. How good was that? Great to see the Wars taking on the Broncos. Big show, been a big week, got a big week ahead, plenty to talk about. I hope everyone's had a great week. As usual, guys, the chat is live. Jump in, say g'day, don't be shy. I have it on good authority because they dobbed themselves in today. There are people who watch but are too shy to get in the chat. Don't be soft cocks. Talking to you, T. I'm talking to you, Potts. Get in, say hello because I've got a segment for you shortly. I'm not going to miss, that's for sure. Hey, Juzzy, how are you, mate? Justin Taylor, straight in the chat. Good to see. At least I know the chat's working. How's your week been, buddy? It's been good. Plenty to talk about. It's a big week for the sesh. We'll talk about that in a second. Bit of a year in review. Ivan Cleary is a class above everyone else. He showed it again this week. Had some funny stuff happening in the golf today, and the tattoo bet is in a world of trouble. We will touch on golf as usual. We'll do the round 11 wrap, even though it won't quite be fully wrapped up. We'll do the round 12 predictions. We'll do the Book of Feuds. Book of Feuds is back. And we'll talk a bunch of crap as always. Steve Leary's in the chat. Afternoon, boys. Up the mighty Knights, mate. You didn't look real mighty for a little while there. Can I say that without getting in trouble from you? We did not look good for a little while there. Where am I going with the camera? Just trying to sort out the camera, guys, so the chat's not covering up my beautiful body. Steve, you beat... Taylor's on fire early. Steve, you beat the Titans, beat a decent team. He's ripped straight into you. Didn't look like beating them, big guy. You didn't look like beating them in the first half. It looked very, very, very average. How's your week been, big fella? Good? Thanks for joining as always. The food steaks are a little bit shaky today. We're stuck with Jack Link's original beef jerky, which I'm probably going to get in trouble off Sunday Sesh Junior, because this is meant to be her jerky. How good is it to have a daughter who shares your passion for beef jerky? Outstanding. Outstanding from the young girl. Outstanding. A lot of Warriors in the crowd. Magic round. Have either of you boys been to a magic round? I haven't been to one. Don't reckon I could do it to myself now. I'm probably not there yet where I can go and spend 4 days in Brisbane without drinking. That'd be putting yourself to the test, wouldn't it? That'd be the true test. The true test. No, the Jack Links isn't brilliant either. The Jack Links isn't brilliant. Very smoky. Very, very smoky. All right, as the teams are running out, so I'm going to knock off the hopefully the serious stuff first, but been a bit of a week of reflection for me and the sesh. This time next week, boys, I'll be a year older. It's birthday Saturday, birthday week for Big Cam. And 44. 44. Got a bit of a Devon patch going on in the back of my head. But it also, we passed 200 days during the week. 200 days off the grog. Gets his double 100, Steve Smith like it was. Thank you, Steve Smith like. But it was pretty much this week last year where things started to go pretty sideways for me, which is how we ended up on this podcast. So when I look back at the last 12 months, which sometimes you do around your birthday, sometimes you don't, I go, shit, it's been a long year and we fitted a lot in and a lot of it wasn't good. So it was around this time last year where I realised that things were going a little bit sideways mentally for me. and they got a lot worse from here on in for the next 4 months until they started to get a little bit better. But I started looking what changes have been made over the last 12 months. I think it's important that we talk about them because more and more I'm getting people sort of check in on the quiet who are going on their own journeys, and they really appreciate what we're doing here with the Potty Boys. So thanks again for jumping in, because it wouldn't happen if people weren't here to talk to. Kick-off's about to happen. James Fisher-Harris. Who we got here first? And pick the score. Sorry, I've broken the structure already. We're on the Wars. Wars by how many? What's the score? I'm going to go 30-22. Wars 30-22. Steve Leary, Warriors 22-12. It's too thin sometimes. Too many people and too expensive for Juzzy Magic Round. So I want to talk about hobbies, lads. What are your hobbies? What do you do in your spare time apart from work and life? Because that's one of the things I've worked out over the last 12 months. So I got to the point where when I started the businesses, I gave up everything, and I needed to at the time because financially the position we're in meant I just had to lock in for the time being and get us back on track as a family, right? But at that time being turned into 10 years. 10 years of doing nothing but work and drink. Nothing but work and drink. And I worked my fucking ass off. But what I did in the meantime was lose everything else that used to make me, right? Used to make Cam. And that came to a head last year. I ran out of... couldn't do it anymore. I had to find something else. There had to be something else. I give up golf. I was playing golf 4 times a week before I started in real estate. I used to write. I used to do creative stuff. None of that was happening, and all I was doing was working. It got to the point where, one, I was burnt out as shit. I was burnt out a long time, probably before 10 years was up. But when creativity and sport is such a huge part of your life, or a huge part of who you are, and then you just stop, you probably don't realise the toll it has on you. And no one was put on this earth just to work and drink. No one. And there's doing the right by your family and doing the right thing as far as we have to go to work and we have to fucking work hard. But you also have to do right by yourself. So you've got to have a pastime. You've got to have a hobby. And I didn't have anything. And the first thing I brought back was golf. And that happened before, that happened at the start of last year before things really went pear-shaped. But what are your hobbies, lads? You got anything? I had a bit of a gut check moment actually earlier. It was funny because I looked at the things that I've changed. I went and got some help. So the first thing I did when I realised I was struggling, I went and got some help. That went pear-shaped to begin with because I went and got help off the wrong person, but I went and got help. That was the first step. And I encourage anyone who's battling anything to do that. It ain't weak to speak and all that stuff. The second thing I did was bring back a few things because of conversations there, bring back a few things that I enjoyed. And then the third thing was finally give up the grog. Give up the grog, which was causing a lot of the problems. And then since I've been doing the potty, and we've talked about it before, I've tried to keep sort of, and love darts. Steve Leary, love a good gaming session. What do you play, Leary? Gamer? So I was a gamer. I've only had one day off a week since I started in real estate. I've always worked. And I used to fill it with Call of Duty or Gran Turismo. Now my 14-year-old's taken over the PS5. So I started the podcast as part of that, right? I needed a distraction. I needed to bring back some creativity in my life, and I wanted to build something where people could get on here and, or at least feel like they weren't alone if they were going through their own stuff, and cure a bit of the social isolation that can happen when you give up the grog. But I tried to keep it separate from work, and I actually tried to keep it separate from my, what's the word for it? Mainstream life, if you like, because and Random Gorillas talked about it before. When you one, you're a bit older, and two, you're in a pretty important position with work and business and job. You worry, you worry what people are going to say, you worry about people are going to think, and you feel a little bit guilty because for 10 years all I did was fucking work for the business and work for the family and work for the bank account, and then to do this and to have a little bit of something on the side that doesn't affect any of that, you feel a little bit guilty. Anyway, I'd already had all these thoughts. And then I only realised today that during the week I split up the pages. I put the golf on its own page because it wasn't really gelling well with the Sunday Sesh pod pages as far as the algorithm was going. What I didn't realise when I hooked the pages up is it automatically hooked the golf page up to my main Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. I didn't know about it for 3 days. So for 3 days, everything I've posted on the golf page has been going to my main personal Facebook page. So not that I was trying to keep a secret, but I wasn't deliberately bringing anything I was doing into that world. Now it's there. So I only realised about an hour ago I nearly had a fucking heart attack. I nearly had a heart attack, but then I had to talk to myself about why I was having a heart attack. I was having a heart attack, I think, because one, you'd still feel a bit guilty that you're not only working the whole time. And then you think, geez, I get on here and carry on a bit, because the other thing, real estate's a mug's game for stuff like this. It's something that people will try and use against you. You know, why would you list your house with someone who's jumping on the YouTube every Sunday and swearing, oh, Tanner Boyd's blown a calf myself. But I've talked myself off the ledge, boys. You'll be happy to hear I've talked myself off the ledge. Because my hobby before this was drinking. My hobby before this was, well, I had another podcast that involved drinking. And if people don't want to list their house with me because I'm getting on here on a Sunday in my own time and doing something I love, which is watching the footy, talking garbage, having a bit of banter, then they're probably not the people that I want to be working with anyway. So I had to talk myself off the ledge. But it's really, really important, I think, especially as we get older, because we get trapped in the family. You got to work and you got a family thing. There's no reason you don't have a hobby at the same time. You have to. You have to, or you'll go fucking crazy, which is where I was. And you can't feel bad about it. We're brought up, my generation was anyway, the younger generation haven't been brought up this way. We've been brought up that work is everything. You got to sacrifice everything for your job. I sacrifice heaps, mate, heaps. And we still do, and I still work friggin' hard, and I'm still the best person to sell people's houses, 100%. You're mad if you don't have me negotiating on your behalf. But you know what? I'm also a creative bastard. I also know how important it is for men, especially, to have somewhere to go and chat and for it to be okay. And that's what we're doing here, and that's why it's okay, and that's why I talked myself off the ledge. We had a chat during the week about there comes a point in life where it's duty first above all else. Yeah, the first duty is to yourself. The first thing you got to take care of is yourself, because if you're not around, the rest of it goes to shit anyway. And there's too many people get to that point and are made to feel bad for wanting to do extracurricular activities. Can't do it, boys. Can't do it. My family's the happiest it's been in a long, long time. My kids talk about how it's just great to have me around more now. And not from not being at work, still working 6 days a week, still flogging myself. But mentally I'm there because we got an outlet. We got an outlet. And that's the most important thing. So if my win is happy wife, Mrs. Sunday Sesh is happy, except when I play golf on Mother's Day, happier kids, I'm happier. I've found my creative space and I get to hang out with you bastards on a Sunday afternoon. And by God, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. You didn't tell me what your gaming was, boys. Darts, eh? Darts is in ciggies. Darts is in darts. I did go through a darts craze, not the ciggies. Sunday Sesh Jr. sends his apologies. He was going to be here today. This is how I know things are going all right. This is how I know things are going all right now. It may seem strange, but Sunday Sesh Jr. rings me earlier because he lives elsewhere. Dad, I'm not coming down. He sounded a bit crook. I said, you sound a bit sick, mate. He goes, oh, yeah, I was sick, but truth be told, he did his best impersonation of Cheech and Chong last night. He's feeling a little bit dusty. He turned into Cheech and Chong last night and he's feeling a little bit dusty. Now, there's two ways to look at that. As a parent, you can go, Jesus Christ, what do you mean you're happy about him having a chuff? One, of all the things he could be doing in the world, having a chuff is not the worst. Two, the fact that he told me, I'm fucking happy about that. I'm happy about that. The fact that I can have that conversation with my son means that all the stuff we're going through and all the stuff we've been through is worth it, doesn't it? Does it mean I'm going to sit there and encourage it? No. But, mate, it's nothing different to what I did when I was a kid. And the fact that he could tell me about it and we can have a conversation about it, that means any more than any bullshit about work yourself to death. So, Cheech, next time you're here, mate, pull your head in. But otherwise, good stuff. Wires are on the attack here. Come on, the wires. Now, it's been brought to my attention that there are people who watch this who are too chicken shit to get in the chat. Terrence, I'm talking about you if you're listening. Pottsy, I'm talking about you if you're listening. And boys, I'm not happy. Boys, I'm not happy. So I go to golf today. Golf chat, by the way. Turns out that the Mother's Day stitch-up was way worse than you ever could have imagined. I wasn't just stitched up by my wife, but someone who shall remain nameless, Terrence, who was supposed to play with me last week and then jumped out of the group at the last minute and then blamed the fact that his son wanted to play with him, pulled the parent card on me. Turns out he knew the little shit that I was going to play with that was lying about his 11 handicap. He knew he was a basket case. He didn't want to play with him, so he bailed. And did he tell me? No, he didn't. But you know what he did do? He said to me today, geez, I'm glad you called him out on the podcast. You fucking listen, Terrence. You watch. You watch. You dubbed yourself in for two things. One, you threw me straight under the bus. That's almost worse than Mr. Sunday Sesh playing with the voodoo doll. You knew the little cheating shit. Turns out, T's barred him, but he didn't want to say anything because he wanted me to find out for myself. Find out for myself. I'm not 12, mate. I don't have to learn things the hard way anymore, even though I still do. Even though I still do, I don't have to. I don't have to learn things the hard way. But thank you. Thank you if you're listening. Fucking hell. So he knows. He knew the old man too. Apparently the old man's just as bad a cheat. So when I questioned whether the old man knew what his son was up to, apparently he's just as bad. Apparently it's been going on for months. Apparently that kid is the sole reason that the golf club had to change the rules to not have too many young people playing together because he's a cheat. Never too old to learn. I didn't say I was too old to learn, Justin. I just said some things now I don't have to learn the hard way. I still prefer to, apparently, I still prefer to learn everything the hard way. But thanks, T. Thanks for that, mate. There's your shout out. He won't get in a chat. Unbelievable. Very disappointed. So play golf today, obviously. It's Sunday. First round under the new banner, the Sunday Slices. A lot of thoughts going into that name, by the way, guys. It's not just the Sunday Slices because it's a golf term. That's the only fucking shot I hit. I couldn't call it the Sunday Shankers or the Sunday Sand Traps or whatever. All I do is slice a fucking ball. So the golf part of the golf arm of the podcast is now called the Sunday Slices Golf Club. If you're not following those pages, jump on. But anyway, I think the tattoo bet's in trouble, guys. I'm not conceding by any stretch of the imagination. Last week I said I was a bit nervous. Now I'm more than a bit nervous. Didn't play bad today, had 33 points. It'll be another green flag, but not to the extent that I needed it to be. And next round I have a really low score dropping off my handicap, which means I'm probably, unless I do something miraculous next week, I'm going to go backwards. So I'm at 14.8. That might go a little bit lower today, but not like I'll still be in the 14. I'll be 14 point something. Oh, what in Zalesniak? I paused then because I thought I was going to say Nawanga Nata Weezwa. So anyway, one of my theories got broken today. One, thought I had mates. Thanks, T. Thanks again. Two, I've said many a time, you either walk off golf course going complete fuckwit or complete legend. There's not much in between. There's no in between. I think I found the in between today. I found the in-betweeners. I played with a guy and his two sons. Wasn't Brian the bus driver and Billy the kid. They're barred for life. Anyway, I'd never played with these guys before. They're all high handicappers. So one's off 37, one's off 30, one's off 27. So not good at golf. But lovely people. But definitely not legend category. Definitely not fuckwit category. Way too quiet. No one spoke for the first fucking 45 minutes. I can't live like that. I can't live like that. If I'm going to have a decent game of golf, I need some banter. I need someone saying something. Very quiet. Very, very quiet. So it turns out there's a complete fuckwit category, an absolute legend category, and a meh. Now, so what I've got to do is change it to those names from, we can still keep it two categories. Would you play with them again or would you not? They're the two categories. If I had my choice in life, I wouldn't play with these guys. Not their fault. Not because they're high handicappers. They were so slow. So slow. I'm not a fast guy. I'm built for speed, but in the realms of golf, like I cruise around at a fairly average pace. These guys were going to get us killed. Not only were they having 900 shots, but they were having them very fucking slowly and not talking. So can you imagine the day I've had? Like Brian, the bus driver, I walked 200 metres in front of them so I didn't have to talk to them. These guys, it wouldn't matter if I was walking backwards, I'd still be in front of them. I had a 10 on a hole. Now, when you're playing Stableford, the idea of Stableford is so people don't have 10s, it's supposed to speed the game up. The reason I had a 10, so no one fucking yells at me, is because they were going so slow that I could have a 10 and I was still the first ball in the hole. Still the first ball in the hole. They weren't having a 10 on that hole. I think 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 5. I had a 10. It all went pear-shaped. You know what went pear-shaped? I fucking did a video after the 9th hole saying I was going all right. Genius move. Genius move. I get on after 9 holes and go, 17 points, I'm going all right. What did I do on the 10th? I had a 10. But I still beat these fucking slow bastards into the hole. I got shat on by a bird on the first fucking fairway. I was hoping it was rain because there was a bit of rain about. It wasn't rain. Big sloppy shit all over my jumper. It's supposed to be good luck. Luck ran out. My 3-wood was my favourite club for a year. I was putting that thing on greens from 220, 230 metres out. Last week I nearly had an air swing. I just clipped the ball, it moved 6 centimetres. Today I had 2 air swings. That's how I had a 10. So I hit my tee shot out of bounds, standard, hitting off a tee for 3, hit a pretty shit tee shot, duffed it. I've got 200 metres, 220 metres uphill to go to get to the green. I'm like, shit, I've got to get this on the green and in, otherwise I wipe the hole. Air swing, air swing. Air swing, air swing, and then a running Happy Gilmore smoked it. I knew the hole was over, but these guys were going so slow, I thought I might as well just get some practice in. Air swings. So I ended up with 33 points. It's going to be a green flag. My handicap's going to go down a little bit, but nowhere near enough. And the tattoo is in jeopardy because after next round, I think I've got one more round. And then after that, I've got my lowest score coming off of the 20 rounds. I'm going to go backwards unless I pump a good score in next. Rishi, who's probably watching, he's one of the ones who watches and doesn't say anything. Spoke to him before. He's off his head on endone because he's had hernia surgery. Rishi, who needs me, can't play golf without me. He decided to point it out too. I get a message. Hey, mate, you got a 12.9 coming off next week. Tattoo bet's in trouble. Thanks for pointing it out, Rish. Thought I had mates. Fucking thought I had mates. But otherwise, beautiful day. Played with some, would I play with them again? Hopefully not. And the young kid, so the 2 boys, so old fella and 2 lads, that Sesh Junior's age, 19, had 4 points. 4 points. If you're following on the socials of the Sunday Slices, I put his scorecard, I took his name off it, I put his scorecard in there. Have a look. He wiped 16 of 18 holes. Never seen anything like it. 4 points. Never seen anything like it. Absolutely disgusting score. The other thing to come out of golf today, and yes, Johnny Rahm for the win. He's going all right, Steve. I don't know if you win. Unfortunately, I think that fuckhead Rory's going to win. I was so happy. I was so happy after his first round. I posted it everywhere. And then because I've led with my chin, he's probably going to come back and win now. I was so happy that he was struggling. 4 over. He was 114th or something. He was coming after the first round. Pottsy, right? So a couple of weeks ago, I bumped into Pottsy. Me and Pottsy used to play footy together 20 years ago. I bumped into him in the pro shop. I knew he was a member there, but I hadn't seen him for 20 years. And we talked a little bit about mental health earlier. I'm going to say this completely tongue-in-cheek, but Pottsy needs help. Pottsy needs professional help. He's one of the guys who watches this, by the way, but won't get in the chat, so I'm going to try and drag him out of his hiding spot. The one grand final that I lost, and I won 6. The one grand final that I lost. Well, I won 15 16s. We went undefeated 2 years in a row. I won 18s, and then in the under 19s, 2 years of 18s because we were too young. Then under 19s, we lost the grand final. We lost the grand final to a team that we beat by 70 in round 1. The mighty Woi Woi Roosters. So I'd won a few premierships. Anyway, Pottsy not so lucky. So in that grand final, a couple of things happened. One, as a team, playing absolutely atrocious. Now, when you win fucking 4 years in a row, I know how Penrith felt last year. Team tends to get a little bit complacent. We got complacent, especially when you win round 1 70-0. So anyway, team's playing terrible. We're down 20-0 with 30 seconds to go in the first half. This is the first thing I did to cost us the grand final. Halftime Hooters about to go. I'm not a chip and chase guy. I'm a fucking 6'3" centre with no kicking ability whatsoever. I try chip and chase on halfway. Like, we're down by 20. Hooters about to go. What's the worst that can happen? Chip and chase. Chip and chase. Horrible chip and chase. I did not regather. Their halfback regathered. And then I thought, well, Hooters about to go. So I tackled him. At least I made the tackle, but I lied on top of him. And instead of letting it go to half-time, fucking ref blew a penalty. They kicked penalty goal, 22-0 at half-time. To a team we beat by 70 in round one. So anyway, we snap out of it. Something happens at half-time. Must have been an inspirational speech. Closing stages of the game. There's about 5 minutes to go. And this is a bit Pottsy forgets. Our fucking halfback, Cricker, puts a bomb up from 40 metres out over to the left-hand corner. And who's chasing this bomb but me? This big loping centre steaming down the sideline. And when he kicked it, I thought, there's no way anyone's getting to that, but I'm going to chase. And I fucking chased hard. And I'd love to see the video of it again, because I reckon as the ball was coming down to land, I launched from about 4 metres away. I flew through the air like an eagle. I flew through the air like Fozball. I caught the ball about 6 inches off the ground and scored one of the great grand final tries you'll ever see from a big idiot flying through the air. No one could believe I caught it. Made the score 20-all. 20-all with 5 to go. We missed the conversion. It was a sideline conversion. Shit happens. Anyway, there's about 2 minutes to go. Woy kick off. We make a break straight down the centre of the field because we're back, baby. We're back. We get tackled 15 metres out from the try line. There's no defenders left. Who steps into halfback? The fucking centre. The centre steps into halfback. All I had to do, well, in hindsight, all I should have done was tuck the ball under the arm and run. I would have scored under the black dot. But I looked out to my left. We had a line out to the left. Every single player in the team was lined out to the left. They had 2 defenders because we'd just gone the length of the field. I think Luke Connor threw a cutout ball, hit Muzz on the chest. Muzz went fucking 60 metres. We get tackled 15 metres out. I step into halfback. I catch the ball. I take 3 steps. All I got to do is pass it to the bloke next to me. We probably score. I tried to pass it. The ball slips out of my hands and rolls 4 metres forward. We lost the game. Hooter went 20 seconds later. Grand final gone. I've cost us the GF. Worst footballing moment of my life. No one has mentioned it. Not on Mad Monday, not the day after, not after the game. I was best and fairest that year. I was players that year. No one mentioned the fact that I cost us a grand final. Except Pottsy. Pottsy's done it twice. He's done it twice. He needs help. About, when was COVID now? 5 years ago? COVID was about 5 years ago. I was very heavy on Facebook. Here I am saying I'm worried about this stuff getting on my main Facebook page. During COVID, mate, I was the biggest political activist in history. But during COVID, a lot of people bonded over social media. And one day I started putting up the memes. I had the newspaper clippings and the old team sheets and the jerseys and everything from the footy career. And all the boys jumped on and everyone was having a good time. Except Pottsy. Pottsy sends a message. I've never forgiven you for that grand final, Cameron. Haven't spoken to Pottsy since that game, probably. Well, that's a lie because I played a couple more seasons after that. Haven't spoken to the bloke in 20 years. He jumps on and says, never forgiven you for that grand final, Cameron. No one's mentioned it. This is a hurt that I've held and a burden that I've carried this whole time, and I thought at least no one's rubbing it in my face. Fucking Pottsy. Fucking Pottsy. So I know he knows I know. I know he's never let it go. And then we bump each other 2 weeks ago in the pro shop at the golf club. We bump each other 2 weeks ago in the pro shop. We didn't play in the same group, but he was in the group. He was in the group behind me, actually. He was in the group behind me, and we were having a great game of golf, our group. And Pottsy could hear the banter, and he could hear me giving Coulter a bit of shit. I think I took the 50 off Coulter that day. And what I don't know is in between drinks, on one of the holes, Potsy's walked over to Coulter and said, asking me about the grand final that we lost to Woy Woy. So I'm on the fucking par 5. Hello, Darren. I'm on the par 5 about to hit my second shot. I've smoked my drive down the centre. Coulter walks over and says, hey, what happened against Woy Woy in that grand final? You got to be fucking shitting me. You got to be fucking shitting me, Pottsy. You need help, brother. You need help. You need to go and exercise this demon. Because it's my burden to carry. Now, here's the thing I can't remember, because the easy shot would have back. I don't even remember if Pottsy was on the field or played in that GF. I don't even remember if he played, but I cost him a premiership. For it to come out on the golf course 25 years after the event, there's only twice it's been mentioned in 25 years, and they're both Pots. So, Pottsy, I know you listen. He asked me on the golf course today. That's how I know he listens. He goes, what's going to be on the podcast today? Well, guess what? Fucking you are, Pots. You are. Go and get some help. It was 25 years ago. "25 years ago, brother." And then the funniest part is, if that's fucking been you, Pottsy, if you've been Chris Brown, that's fucking fantastic. No, because fucking Potsy's and you know what else about Potts? And even if it is you, Pottsy, I'm going to need to see some ID. He's a fucking Melbourne Storm supporter. Steve Leary, fucking Pottsy, who won't let me forget the fucking grand final loss from 25 years ago, is a fucking Grubs supporter. Hello, Chris Brown. Should have to check your IDs on here too, I reckon. Because fucking Terrence seems to know a lot about what's going on in this potty. You're not Terrence, are you, Chris Brown? I accused Terrence of being Chris Brown today. And the look on his face might have said guilty. So then, to cap it all off, Pottsy come and he apologised to me next time I saw him. Who is Terrence? I reckon it might be Terrence. If that's you, T, you're going to have to rewind the potty, mate, because I've already given you your serve. You fucking prick, stitch me up. Pottsy felt bad because the next week he apologised. Mate, I don't give a shit. Because as if it ruined my game of golf. As if it ruined my game of golf because I can't do that on my own. As if I can't ruin my own golf game. Pottsy thought he had that much of an influence on me that's why I buckled on the last 9. Have you seen any of my games of golf? Any of them? Now, telling you, talking about that fucking grand final is still hurting. It's hurting me to actually speak about it. I've got something going on in the chest right here. Disgusting. Disgusting effort. He never mentions to anyone the fucking try I scored to level the scores, though. God, it was a good try. And he never mentions it to anyone. So, Pottsy, get help, mate. Get some help. It was 25 years ago. That's how this podcast started. I started trying to deal with shit that happened fucking 40 years ago. I ended up sober and on a fucking podcast talking to these people. So, get some help. 10-0 Warriors. Hello, Darren. Darren, who only turns up when the Cowboys win. Where were you last week, mate? Where were you last week? If Clifford and Chester don't play Origin, you're protesting. Only when the Cows win. Very quiet last week he was. We'll talk about that game when we're doing the wrap, obviously, but I kind of called it. It doesn't matter because I didn't tip them, but I did say in my tips video, I didn't feel there was an upset was brewing. Cowboys had every chance of beating the Roosters. I don't trust the Roosters. I know they've won 6 in a row, but it doesn't feel like they'd won 6 in a row. I didn't, and Cowboys without Dearden and Tomalolo. So when I do my tips video before I actually put my tips in, because I don't give a shit whether I end up doing what I said I was saying my tips. Got to be smart about these things. But what put me over the edge was no Dearden, no Tomalolo. Otherwise, I didn't trust the Roosters. So fucking great win by them. Great win. Now, Book of Feuds is back. When was it last week? Whenever I brought up Ways is in the Book of Feuds, by the way. But I was fucking right about people on Ways. So a couple of weeks ago, the Book of Feuds was people on Ways putting dumb shit like Sharp Corner and fog, because you can fucking see fog. So people are that obsessed with their phones, that obsessed with getting diamonds on Ways, that rather than watch the fucking road, they'll put dumb shit in there because it's not easy to put stuff on Ways while you're driving. Yesterday was the foggiest day I've seen in 100 years. The fog didn't lift in my area till 11 o'clock in the morning. Guess how many fog alerts there were on Ways? Not a single one. Not a single one. So when you might actually be relevant, there's fog. Nothing. No one chasing diamonds yesterday. Radio silence. So one or two things have happened. One, I'm right. People are idiots. Or two, they listen to the podcast and now no one's marking fog. Heavy blanket of fog. You couldn't see 10 feet in front of you. No one had marked fog. Go figure. Go figure. Now, funny story before I feud properly. I had a big day of work on yesterday. I had to cover about 100 kilometres, but in between I had about 2 hours to kill. So I went and got some lunch, and then I was out near Shelley Beach, so I jumped onto the putting green to try and arrest what would be horrific putting today. And I can't sink a putt from 6 feet, so can't do it. I can sink a putt from 20 metres, no worries. I sunk 2 of them today. Can't sink a putt from 6 feet. So I go down, I've got 5 golf balls. I'm having a quick putt. As I'm putting, his grandfather turns up with his 2 little kids. They were 3 and 2. 3 and 2 with their own. Wade Egan in. Wade Egan, the New South Wales player. We'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, I've got my 5 balls down. I've missed the first 4 putts. These kids walk over. One of them's name was Ollie. Ollie walks over at 3 years old and goes, "Hey, mate, how you going?" Big wave. Cutest thing you've ever seen. Carrying his golf clubs. And then Ollie jumped to the dark side. "Why can't you get the ball in the hole? Watch, I'll do it." Puts a golf ball down on the ground, drains it from fucking 3 metres. 3 years old. 3 years old. And then Granddad goes, "Oh, Ollie, leave the poor man alone." Poor man. I dropped me putter, I walked off. I've just been done by a 3-year-old. "Why can't you put the ball in the hole? Watch, I'll do it." God, it was funny. His timing was fucking impeccable. His timing was impeccable, and I had nowhere to go. Where do I go? And then they just kept sinking them. I could not make a putt. I couldn't do it. And this 3-year-old has just given it to me. I've got to get him a spot on the potty. His banter. "Why can't you do it, mate?" Ollie on the PEDs. Son. I've been crucified by Ollie. And then Granddad jumped in. "Oh, leave the poor guy alone. He's had enough." Poor guy. Poor guy. Interesting fact, right? We'll talk a bit of footy and then we'll see if the feud comes back. I know someone very, 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 very close to Wade Egan. And the information I've been given is that his hips are buggered. His hips are toast. He's regularly taking things to sort his hips out. That's why he goes down quite a bit. And that's why I love him as a player, but that's why not for 1 second did I think he was going to be considered for Origin. They've been reporting for 2 days now that he's been told to pack extra clothes because he's going to get picked for Origin. So, is he in the 19-man squad, do you reckon? Is there extras? How many people are they picking? And if so, because Laurie said he was going to pick 2 hookers, is he picking 3 or is Wade Egan going to take one of the spots? He doesn't miss tackles. He's a fucking good hooker, but surely the information I've been given, everybody knows about his injury status, his health status. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, there's also a rumour getting around that they're going to pick Hammer at fullback instead of Reece Walsh. Got to be kidding. Not that I give a fuck about Queenslanders, Darren. I just want to make that very clear. So I've been done by a 3-year-old. Now, I've already said this earlier in the potty. I'd tried to separate this from my work, and the reason I didn't feud last week is because I was tossing up whether to have this feud, but I'm feuding. I'm feuding hard, and listen, if it gets used against me, I don't think it can because I'm sticking up for people who own houses. There's a house that I'm currently trying to sell. And last week at the open for inspection, one of the neighbours came in. One of the neighbours came in while I was talking to a buyer and decided to accost this buyer and tell them how terrible the house was, how overpriced it was and why they shouldn't buy it. And she went for about 10 minutes. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going on here? Then this same lady stood in the middle of the street as if calling out to her daughter, Ashley, it's terrible. It's terrible and they want this much for it? What are they thinking? In front of 20 people. In front of 20 people. Now, here's where the story gets even better. I sold this lady her house 3 years earlier. And I said, what are you doing? I had to say something because this was carrying on. I said, what are you doing? She said, what do you mean? I said, it's okay if you don't like the house. We know it needs work. It's literally called the project. By the way, house needs a lot of work, not in very good condition. Great project for someone. Someone's going to make a shitload of money on it. Shitload of money on it. Literally, the first line of my description is, bring your tool belt. Literally. Well, I only paid $900 for my house, so how can this be worth $900? She bought her house 3 years ago. Her house is now worth $1.3 million, which is what I said to her. No, it's not. Okay, well, still, the fact remains. Can you not stand in the middle of the street and scream to anyone who will listen your opinion of the house? Anyway, big steroid daughter's boyfriend comes over. I'm like, I've only got one arm. I'm in trouble here. I said the same thing. I said, guys, can you please just... You guys can talk, you can have an opinion, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but imagine if it was your house. Imagine when you came to an open home for the house you bought and someone's standing in the middle of the land room and then in the middle of the street screaming to the high heavens about why they shouldn't buy it. And I thought, where do people even think that their opinion is needed, warranted or mattered, says the bloke with a podcast. That's all right, because everyone's got the option here to turn this off. Everyone's got the option to turn it off. But I let it go last week because I didn't bring the work into it. I didn't want to bring work into it. But then this week, same house, yesterday. Different neighbours. Exact same thing. Exact same thing. Bloke walks in and goes, this is a dump, at the top of his voice. Another lady walks in and says, you know the pool leaks into all the neighbours' houses? Top of her voice. Then they bail up buyers out the front of the house. What is going on? Where do human beings get off? Imagine if that was your house. Imagine if someone walked into these people's lounge room and did what they're doing. But I've come across it in isolated incidents before. It's the whole street. All the neighbours have come. And what they don't realise, the less I sell the house for, the less their house is worth. They live next door. So for God's sake, if anyone's listening, one, if you're bloody not buying a house, why are you wasting your time going to an open home? And then why go to all that effort to go to one to try and ruin it for the people who own the house and devalue your own house? Why? Feuding. Absolutely feuding. I don't understand. And then the look of dismay on their face where I told them to not go away. I just said, guys, can you have this conversation somewhere else? Well, funny story, Chris, the owner's not a bad neighbour. She's dead. She died 3 years ago. So I don't understand any of it. And even if the owner, they didn't like the owner, you want them gone. If you didn't like the owner and they were still in the house, you'd do everything you can to help sell the place so they'd leave. Wouldn't that make sense? Now, it's not for 1 second that I'm trying to pretend the house is anything different. But imagine you're sitting there, you've read the description, you've seen the house, you can clearly see it needs work. I've written in the description, bring your tool belt. I've told you the house is buggered. But then you've got the neighbours going, hanging house. Why would you want to live next to them? Why would you want to live next to them? So if this ever gets replayed to be used against me in any way, shape or form for work, have at it, because I'm standing up for the people. I'm standing up for the people, and if I heard this as a homeowner, I'd want me representing your house for that very reason. I'm going to cop that crap. Give me a break. And the look of dismay on their faces where I dared to say, maybe you shouldn't be saying this. Unbelievable. So they're in the Book of Feuds, people who go to open houses for absolutely no other reason than to give their unwarranted opinion, wanted opinion, and try and, I don't know, make themselves feel important. I don't understand, but we're feuding. Don't turn up to mine. Don't. They're never buying, right? So we've got a rule. Real buyers are nice people, so they're never actually buying. Anyone who carries on like that is never actually buying a house. I've never met a buyer who's actually buying a house who carries on like that. Never. Not a one. I bit my tongue for 2 weeks, but I couldn't do it again. Warriors 22, Broncos 0. What have you guys been chatting about? No, we're not talking about Queenslanders. It sounds like, just on Origin, if the side that James Hooper read out earlier in the week, he said he got a tip off what the side's going to be. Sounds like Laurie's copped some good advice. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. They're not picking Crichton. It sounds like Crichton's 1,000,000 to 1 not to make the team. Moses is going to get in. Moses is going to get in because Darren's friggin' Cowboys played him into form. Where's Darren gone? You still there, Daz? That's why you didn't turn up last week. You played Moses into form, so now we've got to have him as our 5'8". Thanks a lot. Prick. Casey McLean on the wing, so they've forgotten about the Fox. Yeah, thanks, Daz. Thanks for that. So the side that Hooper read out had Casey McLean on the wing. Fox played for Australia at the end of the year. Ethan Strange is going to get picked. It sounds like the side that I wanted to get picked. Remember, it wasn't a prediction. It was just who I'd pick. It sounds like there was a lot of them in there. But if you listen to Dave Riccio, he's saying that Wade Egan's been tapped. Jackson Ford's been tapped. Oh, what a shot! What a shot! Oh. What's wrong with that? He didn't hit him in the head, did he? Oh. No, but it doesn't matter, Justin, that he played bad last night. The decision would have already been made. And he looked like a friggin' superstar against the Cows. Did he hit him in the head? Oh, this is going to be bullshit if he gets sent off. This is going to be bullshit. No way. I'm calling bullshit. No way. So I don't know whether I'm getting stitched up or not, but Pottsy's just messaged, lads, and he's circled Chris Brown's comment, and he's circled the one where it says maybe they hold the hate deep like Pottsy. I'm very confused. Chris, show your ID, mate. And Pottsy, you should jump in the chat, mate. If it's not Chris Brown, Pottsy should jump in the chat because you need help. Oh, I've got suspicions now. Is this cunt talking about me? Was the message I just got? Interesting. Yes, Pottsy, we're talking about you and how you won't let go of the grand final from 25 years ago and how the only person I've heard about it from in 25 years is you twice. That's what we're talking about. Oh, that's outstanding. Outstanding. This is not Pottsy. Hope he jumps in. That is super funny, man. Catch the ball. Catch the ball. See, this is where he's wrong. He's now texting me saying, catch the ball. I caught the ball, you idiot. If you're going to tell the story, tell it right. I passed it 4 metres forward. It dribbled along the ground. I caught it. Rip into him, boys, if he's not going to get in the chat. And it's not Chris Brown. Rip into him. Very funny. Although he was on air, that's actually Chris. He would know the Port Macquarie story, Chris. So it can't be you. Very good. Very good. All right. Yep. Good. Let's talk about some foosball. And then we'll talk about Fozball. Sharks 38, Bulldogs 16. Two things. One, I've called the fucking Sharks frauds. Everyone loved that post last week, though. Everyone loved that post. But how big of frauds are they? They were carrying on like fucking rock stars as they bashed up on the Dogs. It's like the schoolyard bully beating up a midget, what the Sharks did to the Dogs, and carrying on like they're heavyweight champion of the world. That's what they looked like. You would have liked to see them go, right, head down. They score a try. Yep, couple of high fives, head down. This is how we should be playing, boys. But, you know, we haven't been on so focused. No, they carried on like rock stars, carried on like the heavyweight champions of the world. They are the biggest frauds I've ever seen. They are potentially the biggest frauds I've ever seen. They actually get me angry now. Watching them gets me angry. Now, I tipped them, got the tip right, because they were always going to win it. But the 7'8" ogre beating up a midget and carrying on like the heavyweight champion of the world is just embarrassing. Embarrassing. And because you know why? Because Pottsy, we beat Woi 70-0 in round one. They beat us in the grand final. That's why you don't carry on like that. Fucking win something meaningful. Win something meaningful. Wade Egan in again. Oh, no, that's a replay. Fuck, I'm on fire. Win something meaningful, which you won't, and then you can carry on. But it upsets me to watch now. You don't even want to talk, like you can't. I don't want to talk about how good they looked. I don't want to talk about, like, no one can come out. And you know what's funny? I was listening to the radio yesterday. Wade Graham didn't want to talk about how good they looked. Even Wade Graham. Wade Graham said, oh, now they need to actually do it for more than 1 week in a row against someone decent. Carry on like fucking rock stars. Team Pottsy, Grubs, 2026 chance. It's Pottsy. It's Pottsy. You fucking idiot. You idiot. Very funny. Very funny. Sharks, so, yep. Bulldogs are cooked, Darren. I agree. We're going to talk about them. Sharks are stuck up wankers. Juzzy had something in there before. Sharks are bullies. I missed that one. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Sharks are so pathetic, it's embarrassing. They do this every year. Sadly, Nico Hines celebrates too hard for the worst tries, even when he kicks a goal sometimes. Yeah, well, I said last week about Nico, I really like him, but he's got to shut up. Respect is earned, not asked for. Respect is earned. You can't ask for it and then carry on. His hair's getting longer and more luscious. His hair's getting longer and more luscious. But nothing's changed in my opinion. I still think Craig Fitzgibbon's Brad Arthur. I'll start talking about him soon. Well, they should if they watch the podcast. And the Bulldogs, righto. The Bulldogs versus the Dragons, when are they playing? That could be the worst game in rugby league history ever. And they should get Blocker to commentate it so we can have the worst commentator ever commentating the worst game of football ever. The Dogs have gotten worse. The Dogs have gotten worse. They're more than cooked, Daz. Yeah, I saw it, mate. They're more than cooked. They've gotten worse. I was watching... I told Leary, because on Friday night I was in a little athletics presentation night for my daughter. And I was watching KO on my phone because I'm the good supporting father that I am. So I was paying him as much attention as I could, but some of the tries that the Sharks scored, like that's what I don't understand. Oh, fuck, they get me angry. Sharks are carrying on like superstars. They've got people just falling over in front of them. Bailey Hayward missed some of the worst tackles that I've ever seen missed. The fucking try that the hooker scored, it's his first try in the NRL, the debutant, the try that he scored from 3 metres out when he had 4 blokes on him was pathetic. Fucking pathetic. Now, here's the thing. The Dogs are starting to look like Manly looked under Seabold. They did not want to make a tackle. Did not want to make a tackle. Are they trying to get the coach knifed or Gus knifed? Because it looked like they wanted to lose. Some of the shit they were doing, and the only one, and it was very funny. It's very funny watching Stephen Crichton. He's behind the dead ball. I'm going, trying to get angry. Those blokes don't give a shit anymore. They don't give a shit. They have lost. Forget their attack for a second. Because their attack's been woeful for weeks, but now they're not making tackles. So the one thing they had going for them was they'd make tackles. Some of the softest, worst tries I've seen this year in that game, they've gotten worse. And now completely bereft of any confidence. And it seems like Galvin just does one good thing a game, which keeps him where he's meant to be, or where they want him. But fuck, mate, he looks like a fourth grader at the moment, the poor bastard. I don't blame him. I'll say it before, I say it again. It's not a personal thing. I think he's been absolutely stitched up by manager, parents, Gus, everyone. Been put in a position he should never have been put in position to. Now he's going to be the scapegoat because Gus is never going to be the scapegoat. And I just don't think they don't have the cattle to turn it around. Like the Dragons don't have anyone else they can bring in. The Dogs don't have anyone else they can bring in. There is no turning that shit around this year. None. No turning this shit around. None at all. Does anyone have any different opinion to that? Is there anyone who has any idea how the Dogs could possibly rescue something from this season? Dragons versus Tigers won't be worse. Tigers are way better than the Dogs. Way better than the Dogs. When you read out the injury list for the Tigers, when they get their players back, they'll be fine. But they've gotten, diabolical. Diabolical, which makes it even worse the way the Sharks were carrying on. Fuck. I'll never forget, it's funny, actually, speaking of the Sharks, the first try I ever scored in first grade was against the Terrigal Sharks. And I was pretty happy. It was my first try in first grade, but we were winning 40-something to 0 when I scored it. And all I did was get up and go, woo! And one of the front rowers grabbed me and said, what the fuck are you carrying on for, mate? It's 44-0. Brad Besant grabbed me and said, what are you carrying on for? It's 44-0. I said, it's my first try in first grade. He went, okay, sort of. Okay, sort of. Ryan Tandy tried to take my fucking head off in that game, by the way. But they're carrying on, beating up on the Dogs. Who are the midgets? Tanner Boyd's just done himself out of Origin. Oh, was that his... Fuck, I hope it was his knee. He's done his knee. When the Tigers get Appy and Dewey back, they'll be good. They had Appy. They got their big second rower out. His name eludes me right at the second. Tanner Boyd ACL, you're kidding me. They're kidding me and they just let go of Metcalf. Oh. Tanner Boyd's done his ACL and they've just let Metcalf go. Wonder if Metcalf's still in his 10-day cool-off. I wonder if Metcalf's still in his 10-day cool-off. Bulldogs talked it up about culture last year, which was legit at the time. Then dropped Sexton and Mahoney, which really counters the morality values, so-called culture. Yeah, they're full of shit, Dogs. Their Dogs' culture's a myth. But it's Gus. I think the players would love to have that culture. Latrell Mitchell. Here's the thing. I can play golf one-armed. He can't play with a bad back. Come on, Latrell. Come on, Latrell. All right, next game. Pottsy saying he doesn't know how to use the Sunday Sesh chat. Well, bit like the messages you're sending now, isn't it, brother? Very funny. Yeah, still there for this year, but ACL, they might want to keep him for well. Pottsy saying he doesn't know how to use the chat, but he's sending me lots of messages. Pottsy, mate, my fucking ADD can't handle any more screens. I can't have a conversation with you on the phone, conversation with these guys on YouTube and watch 3 different screens and my iPad. I haven't watched a minute of footy today. I haven't watched a minute of footy. I've got Sesh Junior opening and shutting automatic roller doors behind me. We're in a high-class production. High-class production. Dolphins, Rabbits. Dolphins, Rabbits. Oh, Rabbits are frauds. Rabbits are frauds. Rabbits aren't frauds the same level as the Sharks, but they're close. As soon as they get behind, they carry on like petulant children, the Rabbits, instead of just knuckling down trying to get out of a game. You know what they're like, and I've only just thought of this. I talked a couple of weeks ago about people who take their golf way too seriously, and it actually stops them getting better at golf because they have 1 or 2 bad holes and they fucking lose the plot and that's it for the rest of their game. That's the Rabbit. That's a great analogy for the Rabbits. A couple of things go against them. Like Cody Walker's got to grow up, doesn't he? He's a grown man. He's nearly my age. We got the same calves. They tear at the thought of a run. But the way they carry on the minute stuff goes against them, they're never going to win. They're never going to come back. And here's the shame of it. Like, I mean, I've had. I think I've told this story. My business used to sponsor the Rabbits for a while. Not because we went for the Rabbits, but the majority of their members are on the Central Coast. So for business purposes, and we were at the season launch one night, and I spent an hour chatting to Cody Walker. Great guy, but fucking lunatic on the field. But you got to grow up. Your team needs you in those moments, and it's just now. Like he doesn't even try and curb it, and you can hear it in the commentator's voice. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. So as soon as they face any adversity, they don't fold like a deck of cards. They carry on like fucking petulant children. And no one will pull, like Walker, he starts it, no one will pull him up. Where's someone in the team going, mate, pull your head in? Where is that? Where's the Brad Percent walking over going, you better pull your fucking head in, mate? Where's that? And the Finns look good, but the Finns would know. So if you were playing this is what I used to do. Used to be my go. I'd just antagonise the other team till they lost their shit at me and forgot they were playing footy and they were too busy trying to kill me, and the rest of the boys in the team would have a field day. Cody Walker would be so fucking easy to play against. South would be so easy to play against. You'd just go the grub on them. You'd go the grub. Couple of little scrotum grabs and a finger in the bumhole, and that'd be the end of them. They're done. They'd never come back. Surely that's in the game plan against South. You just nominate one person. Nominate one person to just get under their skin. So I can't work out whether the Dolphins are good now or not, because they beat a so-called good team, but are they really a good team? And they do aim up against the good teams. They just don't normally beat them. But I don't know. See, this is the thing with the form. You can't read anything into the Sharks' form, none whatsoever. And I don't know if you can read into the Dolphins' form beating South when South lose the plot. Like, they were never there. And then I didn't realise, and this is where I get accused on Facebook a lot of not watching any ball. People disagree with me. They go, you never watch any footy. Cool story. But I didn't realise South have half their team out injured either. Had a lot of people out injured. Nicarima went down for Dolphins though. Turns out Madge doesn't own many people anymore, does he? Anyone got anything else to add about the Dolphins Rabbits? I thought that was the one I thought was going to be 52-50. That game should have been 52-50. Fozball Tigers. I'm going to defer to the score here because I didn't see a second of it. I listened to bits and pieces on the radio, but I was an hour or 45 minutes west trying to sell a chicken farm while that game was on. I was out in the mountains in Kalnira. Oh, straight in. That was a bit too easy. Another Broncos comeback on. Geez, Adam Reynolds scores some tries for a bloke who can't play footy anymore. Hey, Gordy. He does some good things for a bloke who can't lead the team around. Hey, Gordon. Gordon Tallis. Jesse Arthurs has looked all right in the centres too. I also think, and I've got no problem saying this, I think Jesse Arthurs might rival Nico Hines for the best looking guy in rugby league too. There's a fucking calendar shoot waiting for him somewhere. Fucking rig. Very funny. Yeah, Broncos are in, Darren. Are you listening, mate? I just said. So Fozball Tigers. Now, unlike the Sharks, I'm not going to carry on like a fucking good sort because we bashed up on a Tigers side that's clearly down on troops. But for the bits I heard and the bits we looked good doing it. We looked real good doing it. And then all the interviews after were all, unlike the Sharks, just humility. Ola Kawatu, they said, are you looking forward to Origin? He said, I didn't even know they were picking the team. I heard Gerbo get interviewed. Gerbo got interviewed and he's like, oh, yeah, Tigers will be back. Tigers are all right. That's what you want. You need a bit of humility. Just a touch. You still need a touch of arrogance, but you got to earn the arrogance. I think Fozball is starting to earn their swag. We talked last week about the religion. You worry more if they didn't put 46 on, wouldn't you? So the reason you can read a little bit into it is because they put 46 on. Tigers scored a bit late. What about this great leader Luai that everyone fucking shot me down for daring to question? How dare you question him fucking not being that big a signing for PNG? Look at what's happened without Appy there. Everyone coming at me saying, look what Luai's done to the club. They were nothing before him. Pretty sure Appy had something to do with it. Pretty sure Appy might have something to do with the Tigers. So good luck in PNG. He's going to take his cash. He's going to do sweet FA like he's done for the Tigers. Fucking morons coming at me again going, oh, he's won 4 rings. He didn't win 4 rings. He was part of a team that won 4 rings, just like Brendan Potts was part of a team that lost the grand final. But I've heard no personal accountability from Brendan Potts. Very funny. Tigers need to get some troops back. Fozball looking good. New dynasty forming. Did Joey Walsh get on? Can someone tell me? Did Joey Walsh get a run at all? Madden doesn't play as well with Luai. No, because Madden, yeah, him and Dewey had better chemistry. Luai's too passive. Too passive for too often. One thing you can say about Dewey, I didn't think he's a halfback, but he's not fucking passive. He's proactive as hell. So we're death riding the Tigers. Like, can the Tigers still make the semis? They need to get some troops back. I hope it doesn't fall off a cliff for them. Even though I'd like to be right with my pre-season predictions, I hope it doesn't fall off a cliff for them. Because you know what it means? It means someone like the Grubs are going to overtake them. And we need the Grubs to stay down where they are. Right down low. Yeah, done to what extent though, Quiz? Done to what extent? They're going to come back and win games. Yeah, I said that last week, I think, about Joey Walsh. Justin Taylor's just said if I was Meninga, I'd be on the phone to Joey Walsh right away. He tripped. Get over. Oh, fuck. Tell me you're a front rower without telling me you're a front rower. How hard did he make that, trying to score that try? He tried to bomb that 6 different ways. He nearly galvaned that. Ready? Whoop, whoop, whoop. He nearly galvaned it. I've lost my shit. Daz, I've already bet my house to Steve Leary, but I will bet you come up with something, mate. The Cowboys aren't going to make the top 4. They're looking good, don't get me wrong, sometimes, except when they're playing Parramatta. Ruined me perfect round last week. See, you can't tip them. You can't tip them. Good, give it to him, Juzzy. Give it to him. I like Juzzy on the rums. He's into everybody. Get into him. I'm still losing my shit over that try. Front rowers. Front rowers. All right, let's talk about it, Daz. The floor is yours. Cowboys 18, Roosters 12. Roosters did exactly what I was scared of them doing. They get fucking complacent in patches. Teddy had the worst game. I fucking captained Teddy in Supercoach. He had 30 points. At 30 points. And the Cows did, mate. They defended well. They were hard. They were fast. They did everything right, the Cows. But then they can't do it repeated efforts. And here's the problem next week. If you're playing the Rabbits next week, I haven't even looked. But, one, the Rabbits without Latrell last week looked like fucking rock stars. And I don't think Wayne Bennett's not going to kick the shit out of them this week for that piss-poor effort against the Dolphins. And the fucking Cows struggle to, like, I don't know. Like, we'll do the tips later, but who do you tip in that game if they got South? Roosters have got fraud written all over them. They started carrying on like rock stars after they scored the first try, and then I looked up. I don't know where I went. I went somewhere. Roosters scored the first try. I went and did something. By the time I came back, it was 18-6. And then I wouldn't even call it a close game, Juzzy. Like, I know the score looks close, but the fucking Cows dominated as much as they could for having 2 Symbians, and the Ruben Cotter Symbian was a disgrace. God, the referee. Is this the worst year of refereeing you've ever seen? It's got to be the worst year of refereeing you've ever seen. Who loves a ref getting hammered? It was Manly. Grant Atkins got steamrolled. You love seeing a ref get run into, don't you? Up the wires, Leary. 32-6. Oh, Wade Egan. Well, if Wade Egan wasn't the New South Wales hooker, he is now. I think the Broncos might be cooked. Wade Egan's playing himself in a New South Wales Origin jersey, and I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's similar play to Appy. So if they go Egan, they won't go Appy. Interesting. What about the Roosters? What was Teddy doing? What was Teddy doing? Do you reckon? So I've got two schools of thought. One I only just thought of. So Teddy, he gets told that he's in the Origin team, so he takes it easy. Or I've just thought, has he been told that he's missed out and cracked the shit? He did nothing. And I fucking capped him. I had Nico as vice captain. He scored 116 points and I didn't loop him. My super coach went from fucking, I was going to be an absolute rock star this week, and then Teddy at captain. I thought, Cowboys can leak points. Cowboys without everybody playing. Roosters should be up and about, and Teddy should be playing for his Origin spot. Fucking doesn't look like Wade Egan does now, does he? He might have been tapped and told he's going to miss out, and he thought, well, what the fuck, what's the point? Interesting. Love a good conspiracy theory. Like, who is the real Brendan Potts? Who is this Chris Brown guy? Why does Juzzy fire up on the rums? You know what I hated? I used to live in, I lived in Airlie Beach for 2 years, you Queenslanders. And I was a security guard up there. So Steve Leary, fancy name for a bouncer, Steve Leary can empathise. And the thing that was different from New South Wales to Queensland from a bouncer point of view is there's rules down here, or there was. Like down here, if at certain venues, if I touched anyone above the shoulders, it was like the rugby league, I'd get a 3-week suspension. Queensland, no rules. And Airlie Beach at the time had 3 nightclubs, 2 pubs in the main street. Every backpacker on the planet was there, and the other people who used to frequent were the army guys on their R&R. So big, bad mix of drunk people. Big, bad mix. So it was bad enough in town, but you know where it was worse? Fucking Proserpine and Bowen, because you have all the Cowboys, they drink 4X Gold all day, so mid-strength beers. They have 2 Bundy Rums turned into Rocky Balboa, all of them. Drinking their light fucking shit beers all day, and then they have 2 rums and they are Rocky Balboa. And the problem in Proserpine was Proserpine had 4 pubs in the main street. All the owners were tight as fish's arseholes. So what they used to do, they used to pay for 2 of us to do all 4 pubs. So we'd have to walk from pub to pub, spend half an hour in each and just keep doing laps all night. And so you'd get them on the 4Xs when they were all right. And then by the time you got to the pub, by the time you got back around, they'd had a couple of Bundy Rums. It was on. On like Donkey Kong with no rules. And back then I used to back myself against fucking most people. You know who I won't back myself against? Bull riders and shit. Whenever the bull riding came to town, you can have that, because I don't care if they were 3'2", the strongest people alive, bull riders. Mate, what a mess that was. The 2 years up there nearly killed me. But what is it with yous and your rums? Why don't you drink some full-strength alcohol through the day? On a sober podcast, I'm giving this advice. Sober podcast, giving some advice, but why don't you fucking drink some full-strength alcohol so your body's used to it, so when you have 1 rum, you're not fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger all of a sudden. Exactly, Chris Brown. That's what it was like. And there come a point, like they used to have, we'd get hired as private security for parties, but they'd have them out on the farms. And, mate, there's no point. Why the fuck are you hiring 1 or 2 people to wrangle a fucking whole bunch of Cowboys who are on the Bundys? No point. No point. I nearly got towed up bad there a couple of times, but I knew never to fucking take on the radio clowns, mate. Jesus Christ. They shake your hand before they headbutt you. Never shake their hand. That was a rule I learnt. you'd be trying to calm down a situation. And they go, no worries, mate, you're right. And you knew if they went to shake your hand, you were going to cop a headbutt. Problem is, if they get their grip on you, they're used to holding a fucking bull. So they get their grip on you, you're gone. Yeah, gone. I'm not getting out of that grip. Problems. I noticed the two Queensland boys have gone very, very quiet. Why do you turn into Rocky on Bundy Rums, boys? Just answer the question. 34-10 Broncos. Grubs 34, Eels 8. I stitched up a bloke big time on Facebook. I had him going for 3 days on how the Eels were going to smash the Grubs, even though I tipped the Grubs. Had him going for 3 days. He even had a shot at me today. He goes, oh, this aged well, didn't it? And all I sent him was a fishing line because I tipped the Grubs. Didn't look, it was not, Pottsy's watching and still can't get into the chat. He's a Grub supporter. They do not look confident. It was not a good win. And I reckon if the Eels had a half-decent hooker instead of Talon de Silva and went out the back a couple of times, completely different game. The Eels blew so many chances in the first half that I saw. So many chances. He caught Lockie Galvin's disease, only knows how to throw short balls, Talon de Silva. Fucking get out the back. I mean, the good news is it didn't make Moses look like a superstar. But Storm, they're bereft of confidence, and I don't think last night gave them any more confidence. Does anyone disagree with that? That's what I saw. Eels are going to do what the Eels do. They bash up on the Cowboys 1 week because the Cowboys can't fucking put 2 games together, but then they had their chances early last night. I don't think the score reflected the game. I thought it was closer than that. And but unlike the Dogs and the Dragons, the Storm have got the team to at least win a few games. They can't win enough to. I don't think they can win enough to make the 8. Steve Leary said it at the start of the year, and I argued with him. He said the Storm won't make the 8. I had the Storm coming 8th. I had the Grubs coming 8th, so only just sneaking in. But he said from the get go they won't make the 8. And you're going to be right, Steve-o, because they have to win. They have to win 10 of their last 13 games or something. What about all these blokes in the chat talking about grog? I thought you were in this with. We were supposed to be all in this together, boys. I'm the only non-drinker here. Fantastic. Fantastic. Never could drink rum. First time I ever tried a Bundy rum, I think I was a 15-year-old at a party and it didn't end well for me, and rum doesn't taste any good. White rums I don't mind. I don't mind Captain Morgan's. I didn't mind a spicy rum. I don't mind a spiced rum. But fucking Bundaberg just tastes like arse. Krakens? Couldn't get into them. I was a big whiskey guy. Whiskey, not bourbon. Jack Daniels, for all those uninitiated, is a whiskey. It's not a bourbon. But here's how you know you might need to give up the grog. I was part of my health kick. This is how you go on a health kick. You stop mixing your spirits. You just drink them straight. So to lose a bit of weight, I stopped putting any mixes in my whiskies and just learned to drink it straight. Could never drink straight alcohol, and then I became a connoisseur. I was a whiskey connoisseur by the time I stopped drinking. My brother-in-law was here one night. I drank 1.5 litres of Jameson straight. Was still beating him at pool. Not a problem in the world. Had 2 puffs on a cigarette, passed out in the backyard. The Durry did me in. The Durry brought me in brought on 1.5 litres of Jamesons. But 1.5 litres, I wasn't even pissed. I mean, I wasn't sober, but fuck, I was if drinking. Oh, they bombed that. Fuck, I could put some people under the table. Yeah, well, so I'd never been a smoker. I used to smoke a heap of weed when I was younger, and that's the only time I'd probably have tobacco, except if I was drinking. So I used to have this, one of my conspiracy theories, because I love a good conspiracy theory, is that the alcohol and tobacco companies were in cahoots, because the minute I had a beer, I had to have a smoke. Wouldn't smoke during the week at all. Couldn't stand the fucking things. But the minute I had a beer, I had to have a durry. So I was the best fucking social smoker you've ever met. I'd scab, great scab, never paid for them. And then one day I just stopped that, not even conscious, I just stopped. And then I don't know what happened this night, but I'd forgot that I hadn't had a durry in a while, and I took a big drag on this fucking thing. It brought 1.5 litres of Jamison's, coming home real quick. And, yeah, gone. Conspiracy theory, get to the vax. Mrs. Sunday Sesh passed out at the vaccination centre. We held off right as long as we could until they made it impossible for us to work. So we held off. I don't want to get into a fucking political thing, but we held off getting vaccinated for as long as we could. And then we already felt bad about doing it, and you fucking turned up at the centre and you were herded like sheep down a row and another row and another row, and we already felt like arseholes for doing it, like we'd been bullied, like the Cronulla Sharks had bullied us into doing it. And then me fucking missus got the shot and collapsed straight away. So that went well. That went real well. You can imagine what we were thinking. We've been herded down here like cattle. We're doing this against our will, and fucking bang, she's out on the floor, gone. Outstanding day that was. Outstanding. Oh. So the Storm win a couple more games, but they don't make the 8. Anyone think they're going to make the 8? Oh, mate, it was fucking 3 years ago. If you want to feel sorry for her, feel sorry that she's married to me. That's the real fucking drama. Chris Brown reckons they make the 8. Leary says no top 8. Juzzy and Darren. And Pottsy, if you want to message me, mate, are the Grubs going to make the 8? I'll message him. Storm on a comeback. They're not on a comeback, Juzzy. We are not Grubs. I mean, Storm won't make the 8. Fuck if I know. Oh, I still don't know whether it's Pottsy or not. Yeah, why? How are they on a comeback? They bashed up. They beat the Tigers, and they weren't overly convincing. To be honest, they weren't overly convincing for how bad the Tigers have been, and then they weren't convincing at all last night against Para. I don't think they've got any confidence out of their last 2 wins at all. None. You could tell last night they were still struggling in attack. All the reasons that they lost all those games were still there. I don't think, and here's the thing, unlike Cronulla, who take confidence from beating up on midgets, I think the Storm are too fucking realistic for that. That's why they haven't got any confidence from bashing 2 inferior teams. Dragons have the spoon. Wooden spoon will be between the Bulldogs, Dragons and Titans. I put the Titans fucking streaks ahead of the Dragons and the Bulldogs at the moment. I reckon, Leary, I think you're right, the Dragons won't win a game unless it's against the Dogs. I don't see the Dogs winning another game. Who are the Dogs going to beat? Who are the Dogs going to beat? Knights 36, Titans 12. It was a close game in the first half. What did I miss? Hey, Leary, what did I miss for Fletcher Sharp to be playing centre? Which he did bloody well. Fletcher Sharp has to be on the extended bench for fucking New South Wales. Has to be. He's our X factor. But who got hurt? What happened with the Knights? Spine. Knights keep chugging along. I don't think it hurts them too much if they lose Ponga to Origin. Just my thoughts. But they were doing fine without him. Bradman Best did his calf. God, he gets a lot of injuries. Another good Central Coast lad, Bradman Best. Tell you what, the all Central Coast team's a bloody good side. Sandon Smith, Central Coast as well. Nico. Ethan Strange, Central Coast. We've got a lot of halves. We breed halves on the Central Coast, it turns out. Oh, did he drop that? He dropped that. He said, we'll see. He dropped that. The Safidis are Safidi brothers, so we've got a pack. We got Wade Egan. We got the Safidi brothers front row, Wade Egan. Second rowers. We might be skinny on second rowers. We got Sandon Smith, Ethan Strange, Bradman Best. We got half the women's New South Wales team of Central Coast people. We got Nico. So you'd have Sandon Smith, all Central Coast team. Nico, Sandon Smith half. Ethan Strange 5'8", Nico fullback. Drinky, yep, Drinky's from the coast. Fuck, no, Drinky fullback. Nico half, Strange. I don't think we've got a hooker. Sandon Smith hooker, Nico half, Strange 5'8", Drinkwater fullback. Bradman Best one centre. Fuck, we're looking good. We just got to get one of the Safidis out of retirement. Medical retirement. Connor Watson, Central Coast. Connor Watson hooker. No. Sandon Smith hooker. Connor Watson lock. Fuck, we're shaping up all right here. Up the coast. Who said Central Coast footy was dead? Back when I ran around, the Central Coast comp was the strongest of the bush footy leagues, if you want. A lot of NRL players, as soon as they finished their career, would come and play in the Central Coast comp. Yeah, Wyong is the strongest club with the Entrance Tigers, Woi Roosters. Arrowner Eagles pretend to be every now and again. But we had, like, the year I retired, Greg Florimo was our halfback. Nathan Barnes in the centres from Para. We had Mark Guy played for you minor. Barry, what's his last name? Oh, I've forgotten his name. Barry McDermott played for Wong before he played for England. Mad as a cut snake. Willie Peters was meant to coach Wong one year and he reneged the week before the season started. We end up with Troy Pezzett, Jonah Pezzett's dad, as the captain coach. He's still involved with the club, Pezzy. But it was a strong comp. Wong had all the money, so they just used to shell out for all the players. Knights keep plodding away. Anyway, Knights, Titans. Titans are a week-to-week proposition. They still look rough. I'm still waiting for the second half of the season turnaround that I promised everyone at the start of the year. Just to sound like I'm repeating myself, Titans were going to have a Para-esque season. Para from last year, that is, not Para from this year, where they were horrible for the first half of the year and made a comeback the second half of the year. We're week 12 next week, so still a mile of time for them to show something, but they're not showing much. I'll tell you what, I didn't rate Marju as much as I rate him now, Steve Leary. He was always strong, he was always powerful, but he's a bit of a plotter. Fuck, he's on fire this year. God, he's going well. Pottsy said, sorry, mate, he was eating an omelette. Thanks for sharing. So Knights probably make the 8 now. All those in favour of Knights make the 8. We've got the Grubs out, so there's one spot there for my 8. I didn't have the Wars in the 8 either, actually. Wars will make the 8. Wise will make the 8. All those in favour? So who's in my 8 that aren't going to make it now? I had the Dogs coming 5th. They're not going to make the 8. I had Para. I had Para coming 7th. They were me troll call. Para to come 7th. And I had the Storm coming 8th. So there's 3 out. Fuck, do the Raiders make the 8? I didn't have South making the 8, which I'm still not sold on. I had the Raiders coming 3rd. Sharks will make the 8, but only because they can beat up half the competition. So who fills all them spots then? Dolphins, do you reckon the Dolphins make the 8? I had the Dolphins coming 10th. I had the Wars and the Dolphins 9th and 10th. Do you reckon the Dolphins make the 8? Someone's got to fill the spots, right? The problem with people going, they won't make the 8 this year is it's who replaces them. And that was, so the Wars will take one of the spots. The Knights will take one of the spots. Do the Dolphins? Oh, Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys will probably make the 8. So there's the Cows. There's 3 I didn't have in. Fuck, let's look at the ladder. I said I was going to do this last week. Ladder. So at the moment, Penrith, they're a lock. Warriors are 2nd. Roosters are 3rd. Manly are 4th. See, I didn't have Manly in either. South are 5th. Knights are 6th. Cowboys are 7. Dolphins are 8. Cronulla 9. Tigers 10. Broncos 11. Raiders 12. Fuck, Raiders have got some work to do. Grubs are 13. Dogs are 14 and falling. Paras 15. Titans 16. Dragons 17. So let's tick off who's definitely not going to make it then. Dragons definitely not. Titans definitely not. You'd have to think Parramatta definitely not. You'd have to think Bulldogs definitely not. Anyone change any of that? All right, so there's 4 already out, gone. So the next 4 are the Grubs, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Tigers. In reverse order, that is. So from 13th to 10th. So who out of the Grubs, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Tigers make it? Storm gone, Broncos gone. So you got Tigers, Raiders. Surely the Raiders can do something. Surely. My worry for the Tigers is if Happy does make Origin, that's them. They're going to be they're going to have a lot of work to do by the time he. The Raiders are like my golf game at the moment. They show moments of brilliance and then moments of just stupidity. The Raiders are my golf game, ADD. So if we can put it together, we can get to single figures. The Raiders can get to single figures, but they've got to fucking sort their shit out for a full 80 minutes. Raiders and Grubs will make it. Yeah, but if they're going to make it, boys, so here's the thing. If they're going to make it, they've got to replace someone. So you're saying the Raiders and the Grubs for... So Raiders and Tigers are a maybe. You reckon Brisbane are gone? Brisbane gone or not? I think everyone said the Broncos are gone. Right. So then you got, in ninth at the moment, you got Cronulla. So who out of these 4 are definitely going to make it then? Cronulla, Dolphins, Cowboys, Newcastle. Yeah, we are Grubs haters. We hate the Grubs. We fucking hate the Grubs, Justin Taylor, and don't you forget it. Oh, intercept. See ya. I'll tell you what, last week, Ezra Mam, like, don't rate what he did. Seems to be a better football player than Bloke, but he's fucking fast. Ezra Mam ran down Toru Kola last week. Everyone talks about Kola possibly being the fastest person in the NRL. Ezra Mam ran him down last week, and he's just fucking run down the Zalesniak. Look at this. Look how close he gets. He's got real wheels, Quiz. Real wheels. O'Leary, go easy on O'Taylor, will you? He's on the rums. He's champed him. Oh, shit. The chat's gone to shit. There's been a champ thrown. He's thrown a champ. We've gone 6 months with no champ. Champ. So hang on. So you reckon Canberra's going to make it? Cronulla, Dolphins, North Queensland, Newcastle. Who doesn't make it there then? What about okay, bud? Righto, champ. Okay, buddy. Bud I think Buddies are worse than Bud. No Sharks. Okay, we're crossing the Sharks off. I think you boys are about to run into a massive problem. You're trying to fit fucking 10 teams into your top 8. If we reckon the Raiders make it, someone said the Tigers before. Cronulla don't. So Dolphins do, you reckon? Cowboys do? Cowboys, yes, no. $42-12. Turns out Madge doesn't own Andrew Webster. Fucking hell. Cows and Finns make it, Chris. South, and then your next 4. I'm not even counting Penrith, right, because we know. South, Manly, Roosters, Warriors. I reckon Manly are locks. South, I'm not sure about. So you can move the Dolphins, maybe take South spot, because you've still got to wait. Cody Walker's still got to tear his calves 10 times. That's coming. So Penrith, Warriors, Roosters are going to make the 8. Roosters, Manly, Knights, and then you've got Cowboys, Dolphins, Raiders, you've all said are going to make it. Someone's got to miss out. No South, Dolphins. So no one's got the Tigers in. Tigers will come 9th. Let me play a different game with you then. Who will Cronulla beat? Because I reckon, unfortunately, Cronulla still make it. You reckon Roosters will miss out, Daz? I think you're smoking Justin's rum. Cronulla beat the Will Cronulla beat the Dragons? Yes. Will Cronulla beat the Gold Coast? Yes. Will Cronulla beat Para? Yes. Will Cronulla beat the Bulldogs? They just did. Yes. Will Cronulla beat the Tigers? Yes. So there's 5 of the teams that we know Cronulla are going to beat. Would Cronulla beat Melbourne at the moment? I'd say, yeah. Oh, but they don't aim up. Yeah, I think Cronulla would beat Melbourne at the moment. Would Cronulla beat Canberra at the moment? And I know Cronulla just lost to South, but would they beat the South of last night? So I think, it's going to be tight. I think the only certainties are the Penrith, Wars, Roosters, Manly, Knights. I think there's five you can take home now. I don't trust the Dolphins. I don't trust the Cowboys. And it's nothing, I'm not being negative, I just don't trust them. I don't trust the Roosters, but they'll win more. They're 7-3 at the moment, the Roosters. The Grubs full team don't pump anyone. They lost 7 in a row, the Grubs full team. Interesting. How are we going in the tips this week, lads? I've only got one wrong, I think. Oh, no, I got 2 wrong. South and fucking... who did the Cowboys beat? Oh, South. No, that was tripping. Darren, 6 from 6, yeah, because you would have picked the Cowboys. I got the Sharks over the Dogs. I didn't get the Rabbits over the Dolphins. I got Fozball. I didn't get, fucking Roosters let me down. Yeah. Rabbits and Roosters have let me down. Did everyone go the Wars in this? You had to have. The Roosters have won 6 in a row before last night. It's going to be hard for the Roosters to miss the 8. Saying the Roosters are going to miss from 7-3 now is a big call. They're going to have a monumental collapse. And I don't think they won't have many in Origin. That's probably the thing with the Sharks too, depending on the draw, right? Because the Sharks aren't going to have many in Origin either. So they get a chance. That's what they fucking do it every year. They get a chance to beat up on bad teams during Origin because they won't have anyone in. It's another thing about Fitzgibbon. Where are your Origin players, mate? Although there was something out today, again, I don't want to talk about Queensland. Britton Nicker is going to play for Queensland, apparently. Billy's going to pick him. Anyone else read that? Just getting a can, boys. Every time I've said the Panthers, every time I've thought a game was going to be 100 though, if anyone sees my tips videos, jump on the socials, boys, and introduce yourself. Let me know your real names on the socials if you're... I have a feeling some of yous are on there, but I don't know who you are by your username. TikTok's the worst one. No one uses their fucking real name on TikTok. It's all anonymous. But every time I've said on one of my tips videos that someone's going to win by 900, they don't. And I think I gave the tips. I think I said the Panthers were going to win by 156 this week. Can't believe I captained Teddy in fucking Supercoach. He scored 30 points. So they'll lose. Oh, do you reckon they pick AFB? Did New South Wales pick AFB, do you reckon? Boys, the feuding hats are about a week out, so potentially by next show. The feuding hats will be here. So if you haven't already, I know Leary has, but jump on the website, Sunday Sesh, thesundaysesh.com.au. There's a section under where the hats are to register your interest. Just chuck your email in there. I don't need any more information. Chuck your email in there if you want to check out a hat when they come. They'll only be $932 plus shipping and GST. I don't know, Leary. I'm going to have a look, mate. If I don't, we'll come up with option B. I'm just testing a few out. Logo looks sick, though. They look mint. They look mint. The problem with being a creative bastard like me, and when I was talking before about having hobbies, is I could have a lot of hobbies and a lot of them end up being very expensive. So my new clothing brand, the Feuding clothing brand, which no one wants to buy, I've got overseas people contacting me from everywhere to supply me all the shirts, all the golf gear, everything. I think the ones I've gotten are to fit extra large, mate. I don't think they'll fit Sam Burgess size heads, mate. I don't think they'll fit Sam Burgess size heads. I think it's a perfect hat for a bouncer. Leary, when you're doing outdoor gigs, just wear a hat that says Feuding. Oh, he's dropped the ball. But the logo looks real schmick on a golf shirt too, so I'm going to order one for myself just for shits and giggles. Fucking JT's had another rum. He's into everybody. Hope you can throw him, JT. Mrs. Sunday Sesh has jumped. Who's jumped in as Mrs. Sunday Sesh? Oh, she was listening for the merch and the expensive ideas. Nothing to see here, darling. Sunday Sesh Junior. No, Sunday Sesh Junior has jumped in on his mum's login on YouTube and said hello. All the boys have run scared, darling. All the boys have run scared. As soon as you've popped up, everyone's gone quiet. That's Isaac fucking with everybody. I can hear him getting in trouble for it from inside the house. Sesh headgear like Gerbo for the bouncer. Crystal, welcome to the Sunday Sesh. Good on you, JT. Potsy's giving me his tips in fucking... Put it in the chat. Righto. Next week's tips. We don't have a full round, do we? Don't we have a big buy? Why did you retract that statement, Juzzy? You were being nice, mate. Someone had to be a gentleman. Next week's tips, lads. Raiders, Dolphins. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the Origin teams get named this week, don't they? So if the Origin teams get named this week, how many are the Dolphins going to have out? Raiders will lose Huddy, Ethan Strange. So the Raiders will be without Hudson Young and Ethan Strange. They'll get picked. Dolphins will lose Hammer. They're pretty banged up in the forwards, Queensland, I think. They'll have to lose a few. Yeah, so Origin teams get named tomorrow, so we've got to take that into account. At the moment on Sportsbet, gamble responsibly. Dolphins are $1.80, Raiders are $2. It's at Canberra too. You'd have to back the Raiders there. Although Dolphins play good against bad teams. But Nick Aruma did his ACL. Yeah, can't back the Dolphins. I wonder why they're favourites. I'm going the Raiders. Dogs Storm. Fuck. That could be a horrible game of football. See, the Storm have got a good run. For if they were ever going to get played back into form, JT might be right here. JT might be right, Justin Taylor. They've had the Tigers who have lost half their team. Then they played the Eels but didn't look great. But then they play the Dogs. If ever the fucking Storm were going to get back into form, they've had a good run of 3. Oh, fuck, yeah, Storm with no players. Fuck. And the Dogs will have even though they're shit, the Dogs will have a full strength everybody because I don't think Crichton's getting picked for Origin. Dogs won't lose anyone. Oh, cop a knee to the head. That's what's going to happen to the next person that calls Leary O'Leary. Champ. That's how they end up looking too. Fuck, it's a hard week of tipping. I'm non-committal. I just think the Dogs are that gone. Storm still win. Ashley Klein's the shittest ref, and he's going to... I 100% agree, Daz. That's probably the first thing you've ever said that I agree with. Ashley Klein is the shittest ref ever, and he's going to get picked for fucking Origin. I don't know whose pole he's smoking, but Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, he gets a bunch of games he shouldn't get. And I know Justin Taylor, I just said Justin Leary, I'm going to have them both fight me. Justin Taylor's going to want to fight me, but Adam G should be the fucking Origin ref and not. He thinks that Adam G's a New South Wales ref. He was into me on TikTok the other day about it. I'm going to go the Storm still. You know what? Because for the Storm, if you think about it, their players that they've got at the moment, zero confidence, new blood coming in. They got bellyache for a week without all the other boys around. They'll be right up for it. And the Dogs are a lost cause at the moment. Grubs win that. Bugger. Was Dragons. Dragons? Anyone for the Dragons? How much start do you reckon? How much start do the Dragons need for it to be worthwhile? 30? 30 and a half? Fozball Titans. Fozball's going to lose Olakwadu. Maybe Todu Kola to Origin. They still do the Titans, surely. Dragons will have Metcalf next week. Fucking not now, they won't. Not now, they won't. Tanner Boyd's done his ACL. Can we just fucking... Fuck. So the Wars just put 42 on Broncos and Tanner Boyd did his ACL. Wars are good. Cowboys Rabbits is the last game, and who the fuck knows? I don't know. Cowboys are already... Who are they going to lose to Origin? Ruben Cotter? Daz, who's all your Origin players from the Cowboys? Ruben Cotter. Would have been Dearden. Dearden's already out. Would have been Taumalolo potentially. Is Taumalolo going to play Origin? The Rabbits will lose... The Rabbits won't lose anyone either. Because Latrell's already out injured. Halem Lukey. I want to pick the Cowboys. But you just fucking can't. But then you can't pick South. Because all that's got to happen is fucking Crybaby's just got to get the shits about someone stealing his lollies and it's fucking all over. For all the talk, like a Wayne Bennett being the best man manager in the world, no one's been able to... Cody Walker's undefeated. Cody Walker is undefeated. No one's been able to get Cody Walker to pull his head in, have they? Undefeated. Even the great Wayne Bennett can't get Cody Walker to pull his head in. Cody, what's going on with my words? Must be getting late. Cody Potts. Cody Potts. Oh. At least Cody fires up. I can't remember Pottsy ever firing up. Let it ride into the next game. Rabbits 1-12. Rabbits 1-12. What do you want to do, boys? Are you hanging around for a bit? We can watch the next game of footy, or part of it, until I get yelled at. I'm easy. Saying Cowboys by 50, but you're losing your best player. I don't think Jake Clifford's getting picked for Queensland, and I don't think Tom Chester gets picked for Queensland. Not yet. Not yet. Do you reckon? All right, for those guys who are watching on YouTube, I'm not going to cut it off. We'll sit here and watch the next game for a bit. For everyone else listening on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else, I hope you all have a great week. Look after yourselves. Jump onto the website if you're interested in any of the merch. Jump onto all the socials if you are listening. We have most of the fun during the week there. And if I had better memory, we'd have way more material for this show because, God, I cop a flogging in there. Been some good shit. Everyone look after themselves and stay tuned for the next episode. Rock and roll. Righto, now I can just stop the Zoom recording, guys. Zoom.
Recording stopped.
Recording stopped. I'm going to use all my computer space. Oh, man. Cowboys have so much depth. Who's your halves, though? Ponga for 7. Ponga plays. If Ponga plays in the front line, he's unconscious after 3 minutes. There's a bet. Can Sportsbet run a market on how quickly Kalen Ponga gets knocked the fuck out if he's playing in the halves in Origin? Please. He's due for an injury. I think my my big bold claim last week, Leary, was that Ponga was going to get hurt this week, wasn't it? I got that wrong. Cody Walker for a double. Who did I go? I'm going to have to go South. I need to check the injury list. Where are they playing? If in doubt, I always go the home team. Oh, fuck, Cow's home team. Cowboys are $1.65, South's $2.25. Do you mind? Do you mind? I must be missing something. What I'll do, while he's here mucking around, I'm going to try and do this without Sesh Junior. But I reckon if I go here and I go here, this isn't going to affect you guys. I'm just changing over the scoreboard. I go there. We'll see how talented I am, lads. Watch this. Copy that. Go back here. Go scoreboard. Properties. Oh, I've done something very bad. Oh. It's bad, Mike. Paste. Okay. Oh, I buggered it. How did I even do that? Interesting. No, it's not going to work. That's what happens when you try and do it without the kid. Unbelievable. What have I done? Oh, I know what I did. Interesting. I ruined it. Scoreboard. That's the one I wanted. Properties. What is going on? There we go. Scoreboard's back. I was doing so well. Stream elements. Oh. And try one more thing. Why would he get picked at 7? Juzzy's very fired up about. Yeah, I don't see it. I did a thing. Oh, I've murdered this. Murdered it. Properties. It's interesting, isn't it? Nah. Turning the chat box off till next week. I've ruined it. Drinky, Metcalf, Katani. Yeah, Sam Walker's not going to get picked. Sam Walker's definitely not going to get picked. Did we get back? I can't scroll all the way to the top, but who? Everyone said gaming at the start is what they do for a hobby. What's your game? Well, no, apart from darts. And are we PlayStation or fucking Xbox? If you're Xbox, you can piss off. I was a Madden NFL fiend, Call of Duty, and Gran Turismo. You know you're getting old though. Like I didn't play for a while. I benched it. I was obsessed, but benched it for like my golf game for a little while, and then I get back on. I try and play Call of Duty now, mate. I'm so slow. So slow. I have to camp. I'm a camper from way back. People running around killing 100 people a minute. I can't do it. Camp, snipe. That's my go. Gran Turismo's got to be the best racing game out, driving game, for sure. Sniper Elite Series and MLB show. Let's see who's abusing me and Facey. Who saw the Galvin character that I did on socials? It's gone absolutely bonkers. Yeah, Foz is all right. My young bloke just built his own gaming computer so I can have my PlayStation back. The Galvin Hospital Ball post. Let's play a game of over-unders. So Dogs, I already said the other week, Dog supporters are the most passionate, I reckon. So if you saw the Gus Gould and Galvin one where I said, hey, eye yourself out of this one, dickhead, did you see, everyone see that post? And then the Galvin Hospital Ball last night. Who's got more traction? Who's got the most views out of them, do you reckon? It's funny how the platforms work. YouTube's a bit funny like that. Like, the Galvin is great work. 100 people have seen it on YouTube. 100 people. And on Facebook, 53,500 people have seen the hospital pass. 53,500 views with 269 likes and 21 comments. Gus, AI Gus, 83.1 thousand with 438 likes, 61 comments and 98 shares. Everyone loves sticking it to Gus. But in fairness, that one's been on for a week longer than Pinky in the Brain's at 57,000 views, the Pinky in the Brain clip with 1,000 likes. See, everyone loves me. Ripping into the Dogs is great for business. Ripping into the Dogs is outstanding for business. 1,000 likes, 290 comments. Numbers have been good, Quisso. Numbers have been good, which is why I thought more than one person might want a hat. Apparently it's only Steve Leary. And it's not even going to fit his bulbous head. It's not even going to fit his bulbous fucking head. Oh. Oh, JT's jumped on TikTok trying to fucking get a head start on. TikTok works different again. So Instagram hates me, but I've separated. So what I did, for anyone who gives a shit, because I was doing golf and podcast stuff on, JT, you're full of shit, mate. You just jumped on and had a look. I can see you, brother. I can see you. That's a good thing about TikTok. It tells you who's looked at your stuff. JT couldn't have a guess. Mate, that's cheating, by the way. We're not a cheating podcast. People cheating on their handicaps. That's a Shane Flanagan move, that, to jump on and have a look. But Instagram couldn't deal with the fact that I was doing podcast stuff, footy stuff, and golf stuff. Hates me. I've got 185 followers on fucking Instagram. And I've had 18,000 views in the last month. Facebook. Where's Facey? 600,000 views in the last 28 days. And I've now got over 1,300 followers, I think. 1,342 followers. 600,000 people. A month ago, we had over 1 million on everything. And TikTok's really kicked off now too, but I've moved the golf stuff there as well because the golf stuff was getting 1 view and everything else was pumping along. So TikTok were at 50,000 in the last month. So big numbers. YouTube's ticking along. We've got 110 subscribers now, I think. To give you an idea how good I'm going, 110 subscribers. Sunday Sesh Jr. ticked over 10,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel during the week. 10,000. Based on what he told me about his doings yesterday, though, it seems like he's jumped on the other Sunday Sesh podcast with the Coneheads. So... All right, pick the score, everybody. Pick the score. I'm going to say Penrith 48, St George Illawarra 4. 48-4. (72-2), 52-10. 52-10 sounds reasonable. Here's the thing, though. I don't reckon Nathan Cleary plays the second half. How many Panthers will sit out the second half? How hard do you reckon it'd be? No, the AI Dickhead post is my favourite. I see everything. I have no life. I just saw, mate, TikTok said that you checked my profile out a second ago. But the AI post has been on for a week longer, which is where the other 30,000 views come from. I reckon the Lockie Galvin one will overtake it. That's my bet. Those characters are good value. I think of the stuff, I type it into chat. Chat fucking draws them up for me, puts a logo in there for me so no one can steal them off me. It's great because I can't draw for shit. I drew a plant once for art. What was your best subject at school, lads? What was your best subject at school? Favourite subject at school? Mine, PE. Fucking PE. Leary was lunch. No doubt, brother. No doubt. The biggest scam one was religion. PE, and in high school I had Mrs. Schweitzer. Oh, Mrs. Schweitzer, Ponsford. The things she could be a future ex-Mrs. Wilson. You are a conspiracy theorist, Chris. I'm not getting involved in that conversation, mate. I can call people midgets and spastics on here, but I reckon if you have a crack at religion in school, you're probably going to get in trouble. Justin Taylor, 5. What's that the question? What's that the answer to? I was good at English. I was good at everything till I decided I was going to be a footy player. My parents come to me in year 10, could tell that I wasn't really applying myself because all I was going to do in life was be a footy player. I really didn't want to get a job, so they tried to convince me not to do 11 and 12 and to go and get a job. I said, no, I'm going to knuckle down. Definitely going to knuckle down, I promise. Poor bastards. I cost them a fortune over the next 2 years. Dropped every subject you had to do to actually get a ATAR or whatever it was for your HSC back then. Just did board-endorsed courses for 11 and 12. Maths in Society and Career Studies. You want to scam Career Studies. Oh! Dragons looking good. Dragons might win this. Sport. Do you reckon you could do, you boys won't because you're drinkers, but it'd be fucking hard to do Magic Round off a piss, wouldn't it? I wonder about that stuff. I wonder about whether I'm ever going to get and do some of the big events that I've always wanted to do. I'm on the Cooper Zeros, Daz. Cooper Zeros. Watch this space, though. Watch this space. I am in talks currently with a non-alcoholic beverage company who I'm waiting on an answer from whether they're going to come on as a sponsor or not. We're in talks. That's where I think maybe that's where the zeros do come into it, Steve-O. That's where they are useful. They're no good for your health, but you don't tend to miss. You do feel like, well, every time I go to the pub and I'm having a zero, I feel like I'm at the pub having a beer. So I guess if I think about it that way, you could do it. You'd have no one to talk to, I reckon, from 6 a.m. till midday because you'd be the only person there without a hangover. So you'd be that annoying cunt going, come on, boys, let's go. Seize the day. Cup a diem. I found it actually over New Year's, because New Year's was tough. I was we go away to Shoal Bay every year, stay away in a caravan park at Shoal Bay. And when I say every year, we've done it 2 years running. We're going back for a third. First year, all me and Mrs. Sunday Sesh, we drank copious amounts of piss. Kids went off and played and we just drank for 7 days straight. Last year, I'd only been off the grog for a month and I'm stuck in a fucking caravan park with no phone reception trying to stay off the grog. It was tough. But the funny thing was I was walking around every morning trying to find something to do and God, there were some sore heads. I don't think for JT, for me, mate, it's not about peer pressure because I've said this before, if you're surrounded by people who are, you've told everyone you want to quit drinking, you've told everyone you need to quit drinking and you're surrounded by people who are trying to make you drink, then you're surrounded by the wrong fucking people, right? He couldn't help himself. Tell me that's a double movement. Yeah, well, you're in Salamander Bay, Steve. We'll have to catch up if we're up there the same time of year. We do the week after. We leave Boxing Day. Like we go up there Boxing Day. Stay up there for 7 days. But it's more than just that's what you do. I guess if the universe is putting peer pressure on you, maybe. But like I always wanted to go, I never wanted to really do a lot of overseas travel, but I'd go to Germany for Oktoberfest. What we need is a sesh beer. Don't worry, I've had all the thoughts. So hats, golf polos, and a sesh drink. A sesh zero alcohol beverage. We could do it. Sesh jerky. Yeah, I'm going to leave the jerky up to Gibbs. Gibbs has already got his jerky thing. Gibbs has already got his jerky thing going. But it could go anywhere, Sesh jerky. I'm liking the feuding brand. I'm liking feuding. Logo's clean. It could go places. I stuck Sesh on some. I got some mock-ups of just Sesh written on some gear too. It looked pretty schmick. I'm just going to get it for me to wear. I'm going to end up with fucking 50 hats in here just for me to wear. Not 50, darling, if you're listening. I didn't order 50. I got some bloke in Pakistan trying to con me into letting me do the shirts. All I'm trying to do is get a sample out of him. I can't even get a sample. He wants $100 US to send me a sample. I've offered him 20. He'll do it for a 20, won't he? It'll feed his family for 6 months. Gutho, bury him. Bury him. Yeah, but that's why, Juzzy, you are around a lot of drinkers, but they don't. So that's where the zeros come in, because no one knows that you're holding a can of... I can stand there with a stubby. No one knows it's a zero. I found another one I really like too. So when I was a drinker, I went on a bender, not a bender, but I went on a... I was drinking Sing Towels for a while. I probably spent a year drinking Sing Towels. It's a, is it a Thai beer or a Chinese beer? Bloody beautiful, especially summer, real good ice cold summer beer. They got Sing Tao Zeros. I was at a Chinese restaurant the other night. They had Sing Tao Zeros. And they taste like Sing Taos. And part of the reason I like drinking them is so I could say, Sing Tao! That's about as mature as I get. So you can stand around... And if you didn't tell anyone and they didn't see the label, no one would know you're drinking zeros, which is a good bit of it. The only reason anyone at the pub knew something had changed with me is because I stopped drinking schooners as we're drinking stubbies, the Great Northern. They didn't realise straight away that they were zeros, but it's a horrible beer, Great Northern Zero. Do they make you piss like normal beer? No. Oh, probably. I don't know. I've never drunk enough of them to know. Because one of my many talents as a drinker is I could drink 6 litres of the shit without having to piss. Strong bladder. Wilsons have strong bladders. But like every beer, they bloat you a bit. They got way more carbs and way more sugars in them. It seems like there's a few more people on, guys. The chat's live. Jump in and say hello. The show's run over. We're into our second game of footy. We're just talking garbage now. But jump in and say g'day. 3 drinks and my seal is gone. How can you be 6'7" and 195 kilos and only have 3 drinks before you need a piss? I suppose that's a lot of pressure on your bladder carrying that much weight around. Zero rum. Rum tastes disgusting anyway, so, why would you make a zero of it? There's zero wines, so I was a big wino. For the uninitiated, I've even got there's a 9-foot diamond python behind the screen over here that it's named Chardonnay. That's how much wine I was drinking. There's a beautiful wine fridge sitting there empty. And first time I ever tried a zero alcohol wine was a couple of years ago, and the doctor told me I had to stop drinking for a bit because of my blood pressure. So I tried one mouthful of zero alcohol wine and spat it all over. It was actually on my old podcast, so I spat it all over the podcast equipment. But they got some real nice zero alcohol wines now that taste like wine. So you can get away with it. You can get away with it. I just don't know. It's not the part of it I miss. I miss the getting loose. I miss getting absolute loose, and I haven't worked out how to get loose yet sober. So that's a bit I'd struggle with at Magic Round, I reckon. The strippers don't like you as much if you're... you wouldn't spend as much on lap dances if you were drinking zeros in the strip club. Do you reckon the strip club has any zeros? You remember Big Kev I'm Big Kev and I'm excited. You remember that guy? He used to sell vacuum cleaners or something, cleaning products. I met him in a strip club on a Goldie once when I was on a footy trip away. I got him to ring my missus and say, I'm Big Kev and I'm excited. It's very funny. He died about a month later. We've had some coaches sacked, but I'm not going to claim any part in Big Kev's death. Panthers are in 4-0. Oh, how old are you, Leary? I think I've asked you this before. Got a memory like a sieve, though, for that kind of stuff. We get another can. $41? Mate, I'm 44 on Saturday. What do you get me for my birthday, you bastards? I'll tell you what, speaking of pissing, I do fit in on the golf course because there's a lot of old members, obviously old people like O'Leary. A vote with the podcast, anyone who's still on. I think we just call Leary O'Leary from now on. Seems to annoy him. So, old people like O'Leary who need to piss a lot. By the time I get to golf, because I wake up, I smash a coffee. I've been, even though I'm not lifting any weight, I've been having some creatine and some L-theanine to help me because I'm old. And then I stop at a servo on the way and get an energy drink. By the time I've teed off, I've had about 6 fucking drinks and 8 gallons of fluid. And by the time I get halfway down the first fucking hole, I'm needing to piss. I'm started pissing like an old man on the golf course. There's a golf course, Everglades. Everglades golf course is the most annoying one if you need to piss. It's that tight of a golf course, like the fairways are skinny and all the holes are on top of each other. It's also the most dangerous golf course you could ever play on. You're going to get hit by a ball there for sure. There's nowhere to piss in peace, and a lot of ladies play there. So if you need to piss at Everglades, you better fucking be able to hold it because you got to get to about the 12th hole before there's a dunny. Oh, no, sorry. There's one on the 5th and one on the 12th, but nothing in between. And guaranteed there's going to be a 90-year-old woman fucking walking around behind the tree that you're about to piss on. Fucking annoying. Is it just me or the Dragons aren't looking too bad here? And as usual, my 156-0 tip is gone. Or is that just me? What I'll do, lads, I'll give this till 7 o'clock so I don't get shot. Deal? Deal. Who's working tomorrow? Anyone have Mondays off? I'm in. I'll be in the office at 7:30. Fair chance after tonight I'm going to have a street full of fucking people standing on the door waiting to burn the office down. Leary Monday off. That's the security shift, isn't it? I think when I was doing Secchi, because I had a couple of different roles. Sunday used to be, I think I had to work Monday. I think I only had 1 day off. Geez, I like working 6 days. I've worked 6 days forever. Pretty sure even security, you do nights Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday was my changeover day because I'd be on days Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I do like shopping centre security and daytime security early in the week, and then on the doors of the clubs over the weekend. Sunday used to be a write-off because I worked out very early when I was a secchi. My first shift, when I went in there, naturally aspirated, and the first guy I got into a scuffle with wasn't naturally aspirated. And didn't matter what I did, the bloke wouldn't stop. So I worked out very quickly, if you can't beat him, join him. So I used to take a little bit of something, one, to keep me focused, and two, to make sure that when I was in a rumble, I could keep up with the bastards who were on the good stuff. So Saturday nights used to finish about 4 in the morning, and then you'd try and stay awake all day Sunday. So I basically never slept from Thursday night to Sunday, and then try and have a normal night's sleep on a Sunday to get up and do the daytime shifts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Fuck. No wonder my hair's falling out. The shit I did to myself when I was younger. Couldn't work out though. Everyone else gets on the gear, right, and they have a fucking good time. I used to get on the gear and be the most serious bloke you ever met. I didn't work out until 2 years ago when I got diagnosed with ADD why that was. And that's why it was. It's because that's how you medicate ADD. I never spent much money on it. Like everyone gets on the coke, right? And the coke's a huge thing. Never been a thing for me. Never ever been a thing. I think it's the most overrated $300 you could ever spend, and I could never work out why. And I know why, because I used to get. I know why. It's because it's medicating me. Oh, it was funny when I put all the pieces of that puzzle together. It made me a very, very, very good bouncer. Steve Leary. I was the best bouncer you ever seen. I could see shit happening well before it ever happened. No, well, the stuff, like I'm talking 25 years ago now, so for all those people watching, I no longer partake and haven't done for 25 years. But 25 years ago, it wasn't expensive. All ADD meds is speed, and you could get speed for $100 a gram, and a gram would last you, because it was a gram would last you a weekend. Coke, you pay $300, I believe, and it lasts you less than a night. But you'd have a little bit of goey, and I was the most focused bloke you'd ever met in your life. Medicated. Very funny. And then weed used to do the opposite. So for weed, for normal people, weed slows you down, speeds you up. It's the opposite for people with ADD. And that's all ADD meds are, is just speed, prescription speed. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Yeah, well, Juzzy, where are you? And you've had too many rums, Justin Taylor. We said Latrell had been ruled out of game 1 3 hours ago. Actually, 3 hours ago. Yeah, well, I stopped. I used to smoke a lot of weed when I was younger, Chris, and I had to stop because the paranoia got too much. There's people, here's the thing I'll say about weed. I got no issue with it. I think it should be legalised. If alcohol's legal, weed should 100% be legal. Whereas some people are made for it and some people aren't, but the alcohol's the same. And I think it's a great drug when life's going great for you. When life's going good for you, weed's awesome. The problem I had was when life's not going good for you, and now I realise why, because of the makeup of my brain with the ADD and whatnot. Weed can do some real nasty things to you mentally. I stopped when I was 23. Much like drinking, actually. I woke up one day and went, shit, I better stop that. So I did. Cold turkey, done. thing I don't mind, right, is as a parent. See, well, my parents were clueless to what sort of went on in the real world as far as drugs and all that stuff going on. Absolutely clueless. And you'd hide from them too. So I had no education. And I went from being a clean, apart from alcohol. So alcohol, I started drinking when I was 14, but weed and any other sort of drug, had no touch, never touched it, no education. I moved out of home when I was 17. A week later, I was selling weed because the house I moved into, the neighbours smoked pot. They gave me a leaf cone one day. I had a great time and went, fuck, there's got to be some money in that. Always been an entrepreneur. But I had no clue what I was doing or no clue what I was getting myself into. And then all the other stuff followed, pills and goey, and there wasn't a lot of there was no coke around back then. It was all speed and pills. And I reckon, because my parents were clueless, just got myself into a lot of shit and could have ended up real bad. So I'm grateful for those times actually, because I'm very well educated, and then my kids can be. I don't think for 5 seconds that they're not going to try things. I'm not dumb enough to think that they won't. But I am proud of the fact, one, that they'll be able to talk to me about it, and two, I'll be able to help guide them. And then it won't be a novelty, right? My thing is, because it was such a novelty for me as a kid, I wanted to try fucking everything. But like already, Sesh Junior doesn't drink. Sesh Junior doesn't drink, and if he's smoking a bit of weed, then that's fucking fine. And I've already spoken to him. I don't think he'll get into the other stuff. I don't think he will, because he's already been aware of it. It won't be a novelty. So where I missed a trick when I was growing up is all my mates, or all the people I associated with, they all ran amok from 14 to 17, and by the time they were 17, they were over it. I was just getting started at 17. So while they were all starting to mature and get out of the trouble they were in, I had two problems. One, I was turning of adult age, which meant if you got into trouble, it was real fucking trouble. Two, I was only just getting started partying and trying all the good stuff. They'd already over it. So it's very interesting when you look back. I tried to make a comeback one night. I thought, I was at a party and someone brought out the cookies and mole cookies, and I thought I was reliving. I thought I could still do what I could do fucking 20 years earlier, and I ate this massive cookie like this, and that, mate, the true story is there was a kid at the party playing with a fire, and he had a plastic jacket on, and because I was so fucking stoned, I thought I saw the jacket trying to smoke. It's an autistic kid. I stood up out of a chair, ran, and put the biggest hit on this autistic kid you've ever seen because I thought he was on fire. I rang Mrs. Sunday Sesh. This is what I said. When I said last week I'll write a book and people will think the stories are bullshit, you can get Mrs. Sunday Sesh on here. She will back up everything I'm telling you right now. I smashed an autistic kid. It was his dad who gave me the cookie, and it was a fucking grade 5 shoulder charge. I rang Mrs. Sunday Sesh, who'd already gone back to her mother's. We're down in Bargo, mind you. I don't know anyone left at this party. I've hammered the autistic kid because I thought he was on fire. I said, babe, you need to get me out of here. And then I got back to her mum's house and fucking sat in a corner rocking for 3 hours because I was that whacked out of my head. Oh, one of the greats. I can't believe I just remembered that story. One of the greats. Oh, sober podcast is a good idea. It's a good idea. I used to love the cookies, Steve, because a different type of stone. Like the cookies body stone you. You'll really relax and chill after a cookie. Cones just go straight to your head. Like they're a headstone. The cookies used to get into your legs. They'd sneak up on you though. That's a problem. You'd have a real problem, Steve Leary, because you're a penchant for food. You'd have 6 of them before the first one kicked in. You'd be in a world of shit. Steve O'Leary. The cookie dough. I was sure they were going to make it legal in Oz, so I bought a bunch of shares in a ASX listed marijuana company, thinking it was just around the corner. Because usually we follow America with this shit. In America, it's been legal for a while now. And a whole bunch of stoners got very, very rich when their illegal weed businesses turned legitimate. I bought the shares at 40 cents, a lot of them. They're now worth at 1.2 cents. 1.2 cents. Done me ass because I haven't legalised the weed. Oh. I occasionally get footy picks right, boys. Don't ever take investing advice from me. I'm the worst investor you've ever met. I bought some Bitcoin the day before it crashed. I've got my money back now. I bought a bunch of silver back in the day. It crashed the day after I bought it. Took fucking 5 years for it to come back to the price that it was at when I paid for it. I bought this house and they started raising interest rates a month later. Alrighty, boys. I'm going to rock and roll. Thanks for the extended chat. It's been real. It's getting cold as hell in here. I'm going to have to work out the heating situation. I've got a heater there in my roof that's collapsing, but it's probably, we'll work out the heating situation. Have a great week. I want you all to sing happy birthday to me next Sunday. Although my birthday's on Saturday, so it'll be over. 1 year older, 1 year wiser. Been real. I'll catch you next week. Peace.